The passion, pageantry, and excitement of UFL football rolls on from the windy city of Chicago. It's the Los Angeles Aztecs against the Chicago Dragons. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Happy to have the company tonight of Eric Vincent and Cameron Irvine on production. Eric, should be a good one tonight. We were talking about basketball on grass as we've got two of the top 5 passing offenses in the league going at it tonight. The Dragons, 1-2, looking to win their second consecutive home game and close out their homestand with a win, whereas the Aztecs are looking to win their 3rd road game of the season.
Yeah, and both these teams, you touched on it, Michael, they love to pass the ball. 1st and 4th rated passing attacks. Los Angeles number 1, Chicago number 4. Ronnie Shanahan over 1,100 yards and 4 touchdowns. Adam Wiseman for Chicago over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. So we should see a high-flying passing attack from both of these teams tonight.
LA gets the start on offense, and we're going to get a look at Ronnie Shanahan, 6'2", 223. Leads the league in passing yards, but they're going to go on the ground for the first play from scrimmage, but a jump cut in the middle. Goodbye, Al Ingram III. One play. Touchdown, LA.
75 yards to pay dirt for Al Ingram III. We knew we were going to get fireworks. We knew we were going to get basketball on grass, scoreboard getting lit up. I don't think any of us had on our bingo cards a rushing touchdown to start off the score, and Al Ingram III just cut that one loose. It was a great cut in the middle of the field to miss the only guy that could bring him down, and he's into the paint for the first time tonight.
Ingram just absolutely cooked Jamal Spencer with the juke move in the middle of the field. And oh boy, here we go. Chicago is going to have to respond quickly as they're down 7-0 with just 9 seconds off the first quarter clock.
And you wanted bingo numbers. I mean, we got bingo numbers already. We got an over 50. We got 7 off the board just like that. And just speaking it into existence, our producer and co-founder Cameron Irvine getting those numbers up there. He's a freaking wizard. But Al Ingram, 4th rushing touchdown, and that was his longest rush on the season as well by a long shot. He only had a long of 14 yards before that 75-yard touchdown gallop. So great start for the Aztecs here on the road.
Well, LA doesn't lean on the run a ton, but they do average 30 points per game. That is 3rd in the league behind Austin and Dakota. They are going to have their hands full out there in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, back east, Chicago 8th in the league in scoring per game, 22.7 points per game, and already behind the 8 ball. The return out near the 30-yard line. Quarterback Adam Wiseman will get a chance to do some damage. 4-3 look on first down from LA's defense. They'll rush only 4. Wiseman sacked. Nowhere to go with the football, and he is wrestled down.
Yeah, defensive tackle Therese Jenkins getting in there. Impressive strength up along that front 4. He is able to get through and get off of the blocks easily, and Chicago is reeling within these first 2 plays from scrimmage. Just look at him right now, just getting off the block of the offensive lineman. Wiseman ready to uncork that one, had to eat it and take the sack.
Chicago made some key moves in the offseason to try and compete in the East, including getting quarterback Adam Wiseman from Milwaukee. Play action on 2nd and long. Wiseman wide open on the near sideline, pass complete. That's Denard Byam, first down. Correction, K. Marion makes the catch.
Yeah, that's definitely going to cure a little bit of the ills that you're experiencing early on. K. Marion, leading receiver in the league, still without a touchdown grab. We'll see if she can fix that tonight.
They got Marion from Montana and Byleth Thomas from Cincinnati to buff up the offense. Dragons 9-1 score losses in 2025. Delayed handoff off the draw, 9 yards, first down. That's Jason Williams on the carry.
Williams is definitely a threat in that backfield as well. 3 touchdowns on the board. He got all of them last week, which is a wild stat. But he could definitely turn on that extra gear and give Chicago a little something extra within this offense. Obviously, they're more of an air raid passing attack, but Jason Williams, he could definitely eat when it comes to running the football.
Just a single receiver each side, double tight end look. Max protect for Wiseman. He's going deep, and he's lucky that ball was not intercepted. Naisha Ingram knocked that ball away as we meet the Dragons' offensive line and skill positions. We've already talked about Thomas and Williams and Wiseman and Marion. Those are the names you want to keep an eye on. Now I formation on 2nd and 10, just inside LA territory. The pitch. Williams has nowhere to go. Nice job shooting the gap there by DJ Woods. 3rd down and 13.
And it's a shame because it was actually pretty good play design. You're going to see the guards pulling out and the tackle pulling out, and it looked like they were ready to hit some people. But Woods just doing a nice job. I mean, you see him just biding his time and then shooting the gap when he sees that opening, taking down Williams in the backfield.
Yeah, Lloyd got caught with his back turned trying to get to the edge instead of looking behind him and picking up the block. Now 3rd and 13, so Chicago's going to have to pick up another long 3rd down conversion. They've converted from 16. Can they convert from 13? The answer is no. A throw into chaos over the middle, and Wiseman finds that pass lacking. Dropped by Denard Byam at its 4th down.
Yeah, Byam was the intended target, and I don't mind it here. A little bit of a mismatch there on the linebacker, as you would think anyway, but not to be. Actually, it's Rain Rie, the strong safety. He's built like a linebacker, though. Good grief. High points of that football, knocks it away. Byam had no chance at it. It was a good thought, though, especially with that press coverage that Aztecs were given on defense.
Rie, 6'2", 225. Ryan Myers will punt it away. That one is shanked out of bounds. And LA up 7-0. We'll get the ball back with 9:24 to go in the first. You see the stat. Ronnie Shanahan leads the UFL in passing yardage. But he hasn't thrown a pass yet. One play, 75 yards for a touchdown on a run. Here's his first pass. It's an underneath route and complete for a gain of about 5.
Yeah, it was just finding the crossing route there. It looked like it was to the tight end, Marcus Lloyd. Just a good gain of 5 yards there on 1st down. Just take what you can get, move the football down the field.
2nd and 4, 6-yard gain. You'll take 6 on 1st down. They'll go underneath again. That's to Lars Bizarre. Had a big gain the last time that LA was on the primetime airwaves as we meet the offensive starters for LA. That was a loss for the Aztecs in really dramatic fashion to Austin, 30-27. Lars Bizarre went off in that game, 9 receptions, 113 yards. Shanahan, deep cross, caught by Henderson, 1st down near midfield.
Fergus Scorch Henderson, he is the leading target and the leading receiver here on this Aztecs team. Comes in with 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. To get a look at his numbers right there. Acquired in the offseason from Milwaukee. Similar situation as to his counterpart quarterback on the other side. And definitely a great add for this Aztecs offense here.
1st and 10 up near midfield, 48-yard line, going left to right. The all-white with red lids. The pass over the middle into traffic is dropped by Bizarre. Not often you see him do one of those. As we take a look at the DC defense. My key to this game for the DC defense is going to be getting pressure on the quarterback.
And
If Ronnie Shanahan has time to sit in the pocket, it's going to be a very long day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mark. They get a lot of strength up front, so they could definitely get into the lap of Shanahan. They're just going to have to fire off the line and get through this talented offensive line.
Second carry of the game for Al Ingram III goes about 73 fewer yards than his first one. Brings up 3rd down and 4.
Well, you can't get 75-yard touchdown runs every time you touch the football. But that makes it a 3rd manageable here. They're going to go empty and test this secondary here for the Dragons.
5 wide, 3 by 2. Here comes the late blitz from Chicago. That means the man underneath is wide open. 1st down, L.A.
Yeah, and a great play call. Bizarre, the guy who's able to just work free. And, I mean, there was absolutely no one there. Everyone just dropped into zone coverage, left the crossing route just free and clear. Good recognition by Shanahan. And Bizarre just turns it up, takes what he can get, and he extends the drive for L.A.
Well, Jamal Sparks, the middle linebacker, came on a delayed blitz, and I think in a standard coverage situation, he would be the one on Bizarre. That just left Lars wide open. 1st and 10 into Chicago territory at the 35. Shanahan over the middle in between the safeties. First catch of the game for McKay Breeze. 1st down and goal coming up for L.A.
Yeah, McKay Breeze, 6'1", 193, a lot of speed, a lot of turn up for him. And you saw he's just running a little post route there, and he was wide open just before he even hit the break. Shanahan's eyes probably got pretty wide. And notice Breeze just wide open there in that 3rd level of the defense. Great job by Ronnie Shanahan recognizing the route.
Breeze before today, 11 catches, 125 yards, no touchdowns. 1st down and goal from the 10. L.A. trying to go up 2 scores here early. Shanahan, plenty of time to sit in the pocket and dissect the defense. Chooses to go underneath to Warwick Wallach, the fullback, for only 3.
Yeah, he was definitely working towards that end zone. He was looking towards the paint, seeing what he could find. There just wasn't anything coming open. Great defense by Chicago on that play.
3 wide plus the tight end. Motion pre-snap, the handoff running left. And the absolute denial. Jamal Sparks makes up for his blown coverage on the previous play.
And Brandon Parker getting in there as well. It looked like he was just biding his time. Gets off of Sullivan, just sheds him there, and is able to get into the lap of Ingram. Great job to get the TFL and put L.A. behind the sticks here on this 3rd down.
3rd and 10. Chicago trying to hold L.A. to a field goal here. Shanahan looking middle, and it's incomplete. Sparks with the knockdown, 4th and 10.
Yeah, it looked like he was looking back of the end zone. He might have had a receiver break free there, but a great job to adjust and come out to bat that football away. Jamal Sparks just putting his mid up, getting in the way of the route, and now L.A. going to have to attempt a 27-yard field goal.
Javon Muhammad, he was the intended receiver in the back of the end zone, looking for his 2nd touchdown of the year. Just going to be a chip shot field goal. It is good for Chris McCray, and it's 10-0 L.A. Chicago going to need an offensive answer here pretty quick, Eric.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, L.A. is just coming out and firing on all cylinders, and the Dragons just having a tough time getting anything going. I mean, you're already behind the 8 ball if you go ahead and rip off a 75-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage. So, you know, playing behind the 8 ball, but hey, a field goal there, keeping it a 10-point ball game, that does wonders for your team, especially here at home. The home crowd going to get you back into it. And hey, if they drive down the field and they score a touchdown, it's a much closer ball game.
Get your UFL gear at UFLshop.com. Stocked with the best t-shirts, sweatshirts, flags, and more. A Princeful partnership. All made in the USA for easy shipping. It's UFL you can wear at UFLshop.com. 10-0 LA, 4:32 to go first quarter. Here come the Dragons. Drove into LA territory on their first drive before being forced to punt for a couple of incomplete passes. Adam Wiseman hands the ball off. Running left is Jason Williams. Breaks a tackle, but can't get away from the swarm of red and white jerseys. No gain on first down.
And this defense here for the Aztecs, Michael, they are beefy. There's a lot of guys up front that can cause some chaos. Particularly, you definitely want to watch out for DJ Kilgannon. He's definitely, or DJ Woods, excuse me. He's definitely going to be a big part of that in the middle of the field.
LA giving up 24 points per game on the season. Wiseman with a clean pocket. That's a back shoulder throw and a beauty. Complete to Denard Byam, first down.
And a nice job there from Wiseman to just stay in the pocket, stays cool, calm, collected, finds an open target there along that far sideline, able to work himself free. And that's our first progress here for the Dragons on offense. You notice the yardage discrepancy here. LA with 140-plus yards here in the first quarter. Chicago, up until that play, they only had 21.
Well, 2 possessions and a 75-yard touchdown will help with that number for LA. Wiseman once again sits in the pocket, has to take the check down out to the right. And it looks like Jason Williams needed a map on that play, ended up going backwards 5 yards.
Yeah, and that's certainly not going to help. DJ Woods able to clean up on that one, but just not a great throw. And then Williams kind of losing his balance, trying to relocate where he was at. Like you said, needed a map to figure out where he was, what year it was. And eventually gets dragged down by Woods.
Set 90 Wolf.
2nd and 15. It's been a consistent battle of being behind the sticks, and they're going to be behind the sticks more. Heads up quarterback. Mark Rogers on a corner blitz just demolishes Adam Wiseman, and it's 3rd and a country mile.
And a bit of a wily blitz here, almost a delay. It looked like he was going to stick with coverage, one-on-one man coverage there, and then he just kind of pitter-pattered his feet a little bit and then took off. No one accounted for him, and he was in Wiseman's lap in no time.
3rd down and 23. Wiseman stands in, throws it deep, and it's almost intercepted, overthrown. Everybody in a blue uniform. Closest man to it was actually Ryle Goodell, the free safety.
I don't mind the thought, because again, there's not a whole lot of plays in the playbook that could go ahead and cover 23 yards. So you might as well go ahead and chuck it up there, see if you can find your speedy receiver to make a big play. I just don't think that was the time to really try that.
But the Dragons just keep going backwards, Eric. I mean, they've been behind the sticks on every one of their down and distances this game so far. And it's come back to bite them with 2 punts in the first quarter.
Well, that's what makes it tough when you've got a tough defense like LA. I mean, they don't have statistically a great passing defense through 3 games of this season. But, I mean, you got guys like Mike Denali, Mark Rogers, who got a sack already, Naisha Ingram, Rain Rie we've seen already. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that defense to work through.
Back to the Aztecs, spinning through contact near a first down. With the catch is Claude Savengos.
That's what you want to see out of your tight end. Just working right towards the sticks. Just sit down and give your quarterback a target to throw to.
2 tight ends have seen action today, Bizarre and Savengos. Play action, throw back to the running back. Excellent defensive play on the exterior. Garrett Ramsey makes the tackle, 3rd and 1.
It's a tough throw there. I mean, it's a long throw to get it over to that far sideline, and a lot of opportunity, as you saw, for the defender to go ahead and make a play on the football. Great recognition there by the corner to go ahead and play up on Ingram and make that stop.
This is a massive 3rd down potentially here for Chicago's defense. Can they get LA off the field? The answer is no. Because the Bulldog in the backfield, Al Ingram III, pushes forward for a first down.
And his yards after contact coming down to earth a little bit after that initial 75-yard touchdown scamper. But, I mean, he's been looking crisp here tonight. You know, and Chicago just does not have an answer for him. I mean, look at all those bodies just getting pushed off the line of scrimmage. That just clears holes open for Ingram to work through and gave him a first down working into Chicago territory.
The right side of that offensive line, Josh Sullivan and Jack Spear were excellent on that play, and now a breakout on the far sideline. Ingram again, showing his dominance, 100 yards in the first quarter on the ground, and it is all LA all the time at the end of one.
Yeah, just a simple off-tackle run on that one, Michael. Easy run for Ingram and an easy first quarter for the Aztecs so far.
End of the first quarter, LA 10, Chicago nothing, but LA in scoring position once again as we flip sides of the field. Michael Cirillo and Eric Vincent on the broadcast here tonight, joined by Cameron Irvine in the production studio. Out to the far sideline, first down, Norton. Really, the tight ends getting involved a ton here in this first half. That's 3 separate tight ends that have caught a pass. That moves the ball inside the 20, first and 10. A handoff, and finally a good defensive play for Chicago. Third tackle for Sparks. He was assisted by Parker there.
Yeah, that was just lined up nicely for the defensive play call. I mean, it looked like they were going to come out in man coverage. Maxwell was lined up out there, just completely free. It was just a matter of if the tackle was going to bounce out and really just give him a little bit of a shove to avoid getting into the lap of Ingram. Was not to be in a TFL for 3.
3-yard loss, another handoff, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Sparks is all over the place in that middle linebacker position.
And Chicago just they haven't looked bad. They just haven't looked particularly great either, especially against a talented offense like LA.
Shanahan, time in the pocket, lofts it to the back corner of the end zone, and it's knocked away. Garrett Ramsey gets his second pass breakup of the night. But really, I think there was no way that the receiver was going to come down with that. He was well out of bounds, was McKay Breeze.
Yeah, and I think Chicago got a little lucky on that one. It looked like Breeze came open. Shanahan saw him a little bit too late.
Long field goal attempt is good. 13-0 LA. So the Dragons defense holding in the red zone twice, forcing 2 field goals. Now can their offense come out and really do anything? Something has to change, because this LA front 7 is doing what they want so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that from the first play from scrimmage with Ingram just galloping down the middle of the field there to score our first touchdown, or only touchdown of the game. But you take that off the board, Michael, and really this is a pretty good game thus far for Chicago's defense. It's just like you said, that offense of theirs just cannot get any sort of momentum going. We haven't seen them work the ball down the field. We've seen them go backwards more often than not. So this will be a huge possession for them here to start the second quarter.
Quadir Boyd's going to bring it out from 2 yards deep in the end zone. Juke move to get out to the 25, and that is where Chicago will have it. LA through 3 games this season, giving up 24 points per game. Their rushing defense, one of the best, under 100 yards, 90.3 yards per game, but their passing defense is down in the bottom third of the league, giving up over 300 yards per game through the air. Wiseman into traffic and picked off on a deflection. One of the wilder interceptions you will see. Real Goodell takes it away, and the ball keeps rolling for the Aztecs.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a wild play there. Coming off the deflection, he had a couple receivers working their way open in the middle of the field. Ended up going probably the one I wouldn't have picked. I would have picked the least. I mean, he had an open target in Denard Bynum that had a couple steps on his defender. and the ball just ricochets up, and Goodell just, it's easy pickings for him. LA just sitting pretty right now.
Look at 7 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, the 75-yard touchdown, the bulk of those yards. Pass in the flat to Breeze, not doing much of anything on that first play. In fact, they'll lose a yard. Al Ingram, the third through 3 games, 228 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. So 128 more yards, and he will have doubled his season average tonight. And the way he's been running the ball, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
I don't think so either, especially if Chicago's going to continue to give the football back on offense.
Shanahan, all day in the pocket, chooses to check it down. Ingram gets wrapped up, 3rd down and 8, and we're looking for another half stop for Chicago here in the first half.
Oh, this would be a huge stop, especially given the interception deep in your own territory here. To force a field goal right here, this would be huge for Chicago.
Empty set, Shanahan to the far side numbers, 1st down. That's a nice little crisp comeback route. They went to Ingram out of the backfield, who was split out as the wide side receiver on that far side.
It was good closing speed there from Vickerson, able to come in and make the hit on Ingram. I mean, at any lesser of a man, he probably would have dropped that ball. But now, this Dragons defense forced to stay out there even longer now.
High formation, look for a heavy dose of Ingram. He will try to follow the tight end through the middle and claw and scratch and bite his way for 4 yards.
And Mike, you talked about it as well. This front 4 for Chicago, they're going to have a big game against this LA offensive line in order to make an impact on defense. We have not seen that thus far.
2nd and 6, handoff again. This time the edge rusher gets back there for the stop. Jamal Spencer.
And that's what we've seen thus far from this defense, is that we haven't really seen the front 4 get in there and make any sort of impact. In fact, you're seeing them kind of get pushed off the line. And it was a good job in the middle there by Marshall Crawford to get off his block and be ready for it. But already the safety blitz was coming to make the stop. So we need to see more of that from the Chicago Dragons defense.
3rd and 7. Chicago looking for another field goal force. Back of the end zone. It's a beautiful pass and a back shoulder catch. Put that one on the highlight reel for Fergus Henderson. Touchdown LA, and it is getting late early for the Dragons here in Chicago.
Gorge Henderson, his 3rd touchdown catch of the season. And boy, what a beauty of a pass from Shanahan to Fergus. And you see it there in the pylon cam, just getting the toes in. Had already beat his man by a good 4 yards. We're going to look at this one just for good measure, but I'm fairly certain he got that one in.
Yeah, it's 2 feet down. Breeze couldn't catch up to him. And Fergus Henderson, that's just that late fade route to the back of the end zone. And yes, it's a great catch, but you got to give all the credit in the world to Ronnie Shanahan with that dot of a throw. Put it in a place that only his receiver could go get it.
Absolute drop in the bucket. That was an insane pass from Ronnie Shanahan. And LA is just absolutely rolling right now.
Next week on UFL Coast to Coast, Austin heads to Minnesota before Miami travels to Vegas. Monday in primetime, the Dallas Talons head to the unfriendly confines of St. Louis to battle East Division foe, the St. Louis Rivermen. That's next time in the UFL Spotlight. 20-0 LA. 2 punts and a turnover on an interception on the 3 Chicago drives. They only have 3 first downs. I think if you're Chicago here, you got to go up-tempo and quick passing. You can't allow Adam Wiseman to sit in the pocket against this terrific pass rush that LA's been bringing to the party tonight.
Absolutely. And you don't want to see Cameron Curse get in there and start making some stops. I mean, we've seen already this talented second and third level of the defense of the Aztecs work their magic with getting interceptions, batting footballs down. I mean, quick, decisive throws, get Wiseman on schedule, get him feeling comfortable, and see what happens on this drive.
Jet sweep around the edge. That's a 7 or 8 yard pickup for Byleth Thomas. Well, however you can get yards, you can get them.
Hey, look, and that's a good start as well, because I'm sure that LA was anticipating them going to Williams, as they have through the first few possessions. Instead, a little end around to keep them on their toes.
Now they'll go to Williams on play action, actually. Wiseman dunked over the middle. That's a nice play. Byleth Thomas involved 2 plays in a row, the jet sweep and then the play action pass.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful sequencing there from the Dragons offensive play callers, and a good job at 2nd and 1, understanding, hey, we could go ahead and take a shot play, go ahead and call play action, see if you could get this Aztec defense to bite. Sure enough, they did. Thomas working his way free in the third level of the defense. Great couple of plays to start this drive off for Chicago.
And here's what I liked about that, Eric. They went for the play action straight drop back instead of the rollout that got them in trouble last time. They'll go play action again. Sitting in the pocket is Wiseman, throwing into tight coverage, and that ball is batted down by Marquez Williams.
Yeah, that one just a little bit too greedy on that one. He was looking the direction of P.J. Brewster, the tight end. Just good coverage across the board for the Aztecs. Probably shouldn't have gone that route.
For Chicago, you got to keep moving the ball. Cannot afford to get behind the sticks. That's a nice run. Excellent shoulder charge for Jason Williams to pick up 7 yards. Makes this a 3rd and a manageable 3.
Good decisive run there for Williams, taking on Naisha Ingram and just running through contact, getting a couple extra yards.
Double tight end set. 3-step drop, quick pass middle, and it's batted down by Rain Rie. 4th and 3, and now Chicago has a choice to make. This would be a very long field goal if they decide to attempt it. Just got caught in between 2 minds there because the lead receiver had a gap and the trail receiver had a gap, and he just threw it right between them.
Yeah, that was extremely frustrating for sure. Now a long field goal. This one 51, Michael.
It is good. Chicago on the board from 51 yards. Eric Amaro with the bullet through the uprights. And it is 20-3, but Chicago really needs touchdowns and not field goals. But they really need their defense to come out and get a stop. But if you're the Chicago defense, you've been on the field for 90% of the game.
Absolutely, and that's what you need for Chicago is a good sustained drive, but every successful journey starts with a single step. This field goal, the 3 points, hey, you're on the board. Shutout is gone. Now it's a 3-possession game. Got about 5 minutes here to work with here in the first half. See what you can do on defense. This defense is going to be running a little bit tired, probably going to be running on fumes with how often they've been out there. But they've done a good job collectively over the course of the game.
Eric reciting the poster that my teacher had in 5th grade up on the wall. All right, that's...
I'm certain that in my elementary school we had a teacher somewhere along the line that had that.
Oh, I think that's a universal constant. Chicago defense trying to buckle down and keep LA off the board, keep Chicago in this ball game. They try to set up the bubble screen, and the bubble gets popped by the Chicago defense, just a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, good job by the secondary down there at the bottom towards that near sideline, getting off their blocks from the receivers and getting in there to disrupt that wide receiver screen, because Henderson has some impressive speed. If you're not able to get to him quick, it's sayonara.
Coming up next on Primetime tonight, we've got the Dallas Talons and the Dakota Rhinos. Dakota trying to stay perfect, undefeated on this season. That's coming up at around 7:30 Eastern time here on the Virtual Football Network. Slinging it near side is Shanahan, catching traffic and bumping bodies down there is Claude Savengros, his 2nd catch of the day, 7-yard gain, and now another big 3rd down here.
This would be huge to get a stop here. Go ahead and force the punt and see if you could get better field position off it.
Shanahan had that pass deflected, and it falls incomplete. Carmelo Breeze looked like he had the end zone in his eyes before he secured the catch, but it is the first stop of the game for the Chicago Dragons defense. They're going to force a punt.
Oh, and he was lurking too. I'm fairly certain that his responsibility was Ingram coming out of the backfield, but he was looking at Shanahan, trying to see what it is he was going to do, just lurking, and then pounced on that one. Could have had the pick. That would have been huge for this Dragons defense, but instead, it's a stop, and it's an opportunity for this offense here to get some more points on the board.
A nice job by Breeze to read the quarterback's eyes, see the intention there. That's a fantastic punt, and what a rebound! Whoa, boy! I'm not sure punts make the highlight show that Cam puts together every week, but I think that one probably should from Brian McCabe. Talk about flipping the field.
Grief, I have never seen action on a punt like that. It looked like a Colin Morikawa approach shot into the 18th green and just bouncing once and spinning back. That was impressive.
Chicago from their own 11. Patience for Williams. He finds the gap and has a 13-yard run for a big first down to get him out of the shadow of their own goalposts.
Yeah, and a great start here for Chicago because they haven't had that, really. They wanted to go to the run game. They want to get Jason Williams involved and get him going early, but they haven't had a ton of successful runs. That's a good start there. 10-plus yards, fresh set of downs early on.
This is a Chicago team that's bottom third in the league in rushing yards. They go to Williams again. Look at the blocking. It's perfect. 12 more yards, first down past the 35.
Well, and I think that there might be a shift to the offensive game plan this week, right? We've talked about it. There's a lot of talent in that secondary for LA. You got a talented running back that you haven't really featured thus far through 3 games. Might as well see if you can go ahead and shift the game plan and see how things go. Now we're starting to see it come to fruition a little bit.
The last 2 runs for Williams have been shotgun draw plays. They'll go to it again, this time only pick up a couple, as the middle linebacker stays home that time.
It's still a good run there on first down to keep things going. And I don't mind coming out here and running the football here. See what you can get before you hit the 2-minute warning, hit the gas.
Look at the pressure here. A ton of pressure on the D-line. They're going to go. Play action. Wiseman loading up. Deep shot and a great catch inside the 10-yard line. Kay Marion increases her lead in the receiving game in the UFL.
This is what Kay Marion does, too. I mean, 355 yards coming into this week. Tack on 50 more with that grab right there. First and goal.
Running lockstep with Marquez Williams, and Marion just out-jumps it. Chicago from their own 10-yard line has flipped the field in 4 plays as we have the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Now, if you're Chicago, Eric, you got to get in the end zone here before the break. I mean, 20-10 feels a lot better than 20-6.
Oh, absolutely it does. Absolutely. Which means no unnecessary risks. Take care of the football if you're Adam Wiseman. Don't put it into harm's way. Get yourself into the paint if you can. If not, take the field goal.
Wiseman back to the end zone. It only takes 1 play. Touchdown Dragons. Byleth Thomas rips the ball away from the defender in Chicago. Makes this crowd happy for the first time tonight.
And you want to talk about good balls, right? Like we saw at the last possession with Ronnie Shanahan and the Aztecs. This is a good ball here from Adam Wiseman. Threw it where only his receiver could make a play on it. It wasn't a perfect one where it was going to be an easy catch, but it was a tough grab, one-handed for Thomas. Chicago's on the board with their first touchdown.
First touchdown of the season for Byleth Thomas to go along with 240 receiving yards before today started. 5 plays, 89 yards, 2 minutes, 5 seconds. That's one of the more impressive drives I've seen from any team in the UFL this season.
And that's what makes Chicago so head-scratching at times. You know, you see them light the world on fire, particularly with their passing attack. And then there are times where they look just boring. And you wonder, is this the same team? Well, we're starting to see it here. A little bit of Jekyll and Hyde action early on, getting the ship righted. And now they got a whole other half of football in front of them.
LA 20-10, but 10 straight Chicago points. The defense has also forced 2 straight punts, and still 3 timeouts left if the Dragons defense can get another 3 and out and give the ball back to the offense before the break. Still plenty of time for both teams to make some noise. 1:52 to go here in this first half. Thank you for joining us on your Sunday evening. UFL coast-to-coast action for your Sunday night. Michael Toretto and Eric Vincent bringing you all the UFL action. Of course, we've got the Dakota Rhinos, the defending champs, coming up later tonight in primetime with Mike Daggs and Gerald on the call. Won't want to miss that one as well. First play, Shanahan goes down. There have been 2 players tonight for the Chicago defense who have made 90% of the plays. Brennan Parker, who just got that sack, and Jamal Sparks, the middle linebacker.
And again, just a protection breakdown. I mean, too many bodies for, actually not too many bodies. There was a double team up front for some reason, and it left Parker just completely unaccounted for. He comes scot-free. I guess they had a blitzing middle linebacker there from Maxwell, but otherwise, you got to account for the edge rusher. I mean,
well, they double teamed Sparks up the middle and let the edge rusher get in there. Now it's 2nd and 19. That's an excellent recovery play by LA to make this 3rd down and 9. Got 10 yards there on a little post route to Ingram.
Can't do that, though. Can't leave the edge rusher completely free. I mean, come on.
A chance for a 3rd straight 3 and out for the Chicago defense here. Shanahan against the late blitz, fires over the middle, and Breeze is wide open right in the spot the middle linebacker would be covering if he hadn't come on the blitz.
Yeah, and that was much better blitz pickup for the LA offensive line as well. As you pointed out, delayed blitz, picked up nicely. Shanahan had a nice clean pocket, and really there was nothing that the Dragons could do, just given the zone defense they were throwing out there. Covered as much as they could, and Breeze just floats on through.
Was that Parker? 6'3", 285, the left end back out in coverage? No wonder Breeze made the catch.
Bit of a head-scratching call on defense, but it is what it is.
Deep drop for Shanahan, throws to the far side. Ingram right at the midfield stripe will touch the out-of-bounds line and save LA a timeout. 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7.
And, maybe they had a little bit more faith in Parker's coverage. I mean, he does get off the ball well. He's got some pretty good acceleration from that edge spot.
Another blitz, another punish on a quick slant to Breeze. Timeout, LA.
And LA just kind of going with the death by 1,000 cuts mindset on this drive. Just working the ball down the field. Obviously, they had the sack that set them back. But just run their offense per usual. They're not panicking. Just go ahead and call the first timeout. Now they're within striking distance here. Could possibly get within field goal range and still with 2 timeouts.
I'd like to see Chicago stop blitzing. They only rush 4 here. That means Lars Bizarre is open underneath. Timeout.
Yeah, and we talked about that. Very rarely has the blitz, at least up the middle, has that worked. We've seen them send corner blitzes or safety blitzes. That has worked to a degree. But I believe you're correct. With a team like LA that has so many offensive weapons, you can only blitz so many times before you get burned.
2nd and 2 just outside the 30. Shanahan, plenty of time. Throwing deep. Deep crosses, open catch made near the 10-yard line for Javon Muhammad.
And they only send 4 on that play, but, I mean, how do you let Muhammad just get that wide open there and on the sideline, save him a timeout? And now LA is definitely in business on this drive.
Javon Muhammad, who had 6 catches, 81 yards in the last Aztec loss to Austin 2 weeks ago. A chance to really turn the screws right before the break. Plenty of time for Shanahan against the 4-man rush. Back in the end zone, Bizarre dropped the ball. Had the touchdown in his hands, and it just slipped away from his grasp.
Oh, man. And you don't see that very often from Lars Bizarre. A very sure-handed target here for this Aztec offense.
2nd and 10. 20 seconds left. They run the blitz. Throw to the far side. Ingram run down from behind. LA choosing not to call their final timeouts and may just take the 3 points here on the final drive of the first half. There is the timeout with 5 seconds left, and they will hand the ball over to Chris McKay.
Yeah, not a bad idea there. Parker obviously was responsible for Ingram coming out of the backfield. There was really no one behind Brendan Parker to really make that stop. So if Ingram is able to get that catch and take a good cut upfield, that was an easy score. But instead, Chicago gets another stop.
29-yard field goal here for McCray. Snap, holds, kick is good. And it is 23-10. Chicago trails LA as we will go to the break. We'll have the kickoff with just 2 seconds left in the half.
And Chicago's done a nice job of rebounding, right? Like, obviously on their heels early with that long touchdown run from Ingram, getting the Aztecs on the board right away. Their offense kind of sputtering, not able to really get up to the production that they're looking for, especially in the passing attack. And why would it against such a talented secondary as LA, even though the stats haven't really shown that thus far through 3 games of the season. But Chicago's doing a better job now. They finally had a nice, long, sustained drive, worked the ball down the field, got a field goal, got a touchdown. Now has made this 2-possession game.
I believe Chicago won the second quarter 10-9, so looking in the right direction for the Dragons. Still 2 seconds left. They'll run one offensive play. Wiseman will just go underneath, and that'll be the end of the first half. LA dominated the first quarter. Chicago finally woke up and got in the game late, but it is a 13-point lead for the Aztecs going into the locker room, 23-10. Eric, what do the Dragons need to do to come out and try and come back in this game in the second half?
Well, I think a lot of what they need to do is what they did on that touchdown drive. You know, focus on Jason Williams. See if you can set yourself in short yardage, down-to-go situations, and take advantage of the play action, because LA is going to be looking at the run game here with Jason Williams. They've got a couple targets that Wiseman likes to go to through the air, none that are really going to set the world on fire unless it's that person right there, K. Marion. But otherwise, I think it was a good, productive drive what they did with focusing on the run game, go to the play action, take advantage of the defense behind the second level, and work your way into the end zone.
LA 23, Chicago 10 as we get ready for quarter numero 3 here from Chicago this evening. Chicago does get the ball first here in quarter number 3. Happy to have your company on the Virtual Football Network tonight. Michael Cirillo and Eric Vincent on the action for you. Cameron Irvine, producer extraordinaire in the production truck this evening. A nice return out past the 25 for Quadir Boyd. And Chicago has a long way back, but they're going to lean on this man, Jason Williams. 7 carries, 45 yards, 6 yards a carry in the first half.
And hey, Michael, if they're able to march down the field and score a touchdown here, it is a 1-possession game through all the trials and tribulations that we have seen here for this Dragons offense. They would make it a 6-point game with a touchdown.
It'll be Williams trying to bulldoze through the pile, and he got absolutely hammered by DJ Woods in the middle. Did pick up 5, though.
Yeah, tough, hard-earned running there, or hard-earned yards, I should say, here for Jason Williams on that first down play.
High formation. Williams lined up behind the fullback. I won't get the ball. Play action. Dump it short over the middle. Incomplete.
Yeah.
An odd play call sets up 3rd and 5.
That ain't it. You know, when I'm talking about focusing on the run and then working the play action, I'm not talking about checking it down to your back who's right at the line of scrimmage amidst the sea of defenders. That won't do it.
Now 3rd and 5. Wiseman going to load up and find an open receiver across the middle. Violet Thomas, who had the touchdown in the first half, picks up the first down there, and the Chicago drive continues.
Yeah, Thomas and Marion have both done well here in this passing attack for Wiseman and the Dragons. Just a simple in route, deep in route, working that second level with the linebackers. Woods sees it a little bit too late, and Thomas is able to convert the first down. Good recognition there from Wiseman on that third down.
Got it. 58 for Mike. Ready? Trip. Light.
Three in the pattern. Wiseman in the gun. Belt tie snap. Here comes pressure off the edge. Wiseman going to go to the air. To the far side, pass caught by Williams out of the backfield. 7 yards on first down. That's really all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Get yourself what you can get on these plays. It's a very vaunted secondary, vaunted defense overall here for the Aztecs.
Another play action. Wiseman, plenty of time. Staring down the field. Now protection breaks down. Wiseman going one-on-one coverage. Another terrific catch. This time by Marcus Lloyd, the tight end.
And, you know, in games like this, you're going to need your playmakers to make some plays for you. And that was a great play. Denali had pretty good coverage on that. Nice job by the receivers, just working to get themselves free, trying to make a play for their quarterback. Wiseman doing a nice job just staying in the pocket and locating the open man. And here they are knocking on the door of the red zone.
Bunch formation, three receivers to the right. They'll go pitch. Williams, the blocking is good on the bunch formation, and he gets down inside the 10.
Yeah, that was a great block. I think it was the pulling guard that came in and just cut down the incoming linebacker right there on the left-hand side of your screen. That really opened up that play for Williams to get through.
It was the tight end, P.J. Brewster, who was the right-hand side of that diamond. First and goal. Off tackle run. Nothing doing there for the backup running back, Corey Preston. Cameron Curse, first man to him on the tackle. Second and goal now from the 7.
Now Williams checks back in here on this I formation.
They're going to give it to him. And he's going to get down to the 5.
Now, third and goal here, I wouldn't mind a little play action look. Maybe not the rollout. We both dislike the rollout play action, Michael.
Yeah, well, watch the pitch. They've got the three receivers bunched up on the far side again. They will go pass play. Wiseman stands in, surveys, still surveys, and goes down. Coverage sack behind the line. Antoine Walker's been big in the last couple of plays for the Aztecs defense, and they'll force a fourth down.
I know Wiseman is not one of those guys that is just going to take off and run. He's just not that type of quarterback. But, man, at some point, you just got to take off and go. You know, like you've surveyed the field. The timer has to go off in your head, and it just went off a little bit too late on that play. But Chicago, an opportunity at a chip shot field goal, add more points and narrow this gap.
A 25-yarder from Eric Emerow is good. 10-point game, still two-possession game. Not what the Dragons wanted. They do drive the length of the field, but come up short inside the 10 as the bingo numbers get updated. Remember, vertical cards win tonight.
And Michael, we talked about it with Chicago. The offense needed a good sustained drive, and this was a perfect time to find one. Nice sustained drive coming out of the locker room. Give your defense a little extra wind. Obviously, you just came out of the tunnels from the halftime break, but give your defense a little extra wind, a little opportunity to stay on the sideline, and now they're going to come out here and with a fresh set of legs playing against this Aztecs defense or offense for the first possession in the second half.
Well, every stop that Chicago can get in this second half will feel like gold dust to a Dragons team trying to come back. Remember, they were down 14-0 just at the drop of a hat.
Oh, absolutely. And that was what was missing, was the sustained drives early on in the game. We're finally starting to see it here. Let's see what this Dragons defense can do. They got 6 in the box to start things off.
I formation with Ingram dotting the I. He'll get the handoff, and he won't get much of anywhere. Payan Shaw, the outside linebacker with the tackle on first down, 2nd and 8.
We talked about Ingram, lethal running back, 75 yards on the ground on that touchdown play from scrimmage, only 30 yards since.
This time they take the stack away from the box, and it's punished immediately by Al Ingram. I believe that was an option from Shanahan. He read the defense, saw that they've backed off, and just handed the ball off.
Yeah, it certainly looked that way, and it was a good decision there, and I guess I spoke that into existence with saying that Ingram hasn't had a ton of productivity since that opening touchdown run, but man, the Red Sea just parted for him on that play.
This time they bring the linebackers back into the box. 6 in the box. They'll rush all 6. Shanahan to the far side. Pass caught on the outlet by Javon Muhammad for a 5-yard gain.
And again, not a big fan of the blitzing here for Chicago. It's not really getting home, but a good play there to really hold it to 5 yards as opposed to much, much more.
Receivers 2 by 2, play action. Shanahan man in his face, flag flies as he just launches that one out of bounds. And that'll be a hold on LA. First penalty of the game. Taylor Comardell means that instead of a 2nd and 5, it's a 2nd and 15. Handoff running left. Ingram breaks one tackle, can't get away from the attentions of Jamal Sparks. Just a 3-yard gain there, 3rd and 12.
And Chicago's done a nice job on defense of gang tackling. You know, first guy gets there, doesn't make the stop. There's at least a couple more guys in the general area to clean it up.
High snap. Shanahan, quick pass over the middle. Into traffic. Muhammad cannot get to the first down marker. He is short by 3 yards. Got 10, needed 13.
And that holding call ended up being a killer here for the Aztecs, putting them behind the sticks and really not enabling them to get the first down, because they certainly would have if they did not have that holding call. But nice job, nice hold by Chicago, getting a stop here, scoring points on offense, getting a stop on defense to open up the second half.
The last time Brian McCabe punted the football, it was a terrific one. This time, a coffin corner bounces and goes out of bounds at the 5. Brian McCabe has had 2 punts tonight, and he's pinned Chicago at their own 10 and their own 5.
Yeah, this guy is a weapon here for LA, but long way to go here for the Dragons. Get a look at Williams' numbers. He's been productive thus far. He's going to need to continue to be productive, especially in this deep situation that they find themselves in, back up against their own goal line.
Williams the single back in the shadow of their own end zone. From the 5, they'll hand it off to Williams running left, tries to make a cut in the backfield. He gets taken out by the second man through. That being Cooper Fleming, the left linebacker.
Good run initially on that first down.
Just 3 yards there, 2nd and 7, bunch formation to the right. 1 receiver left. Delayed handoff. Williams running to the strong side, and he gets taken down by Fleming again. 3rd and 7, no gain.
Man, nice job by Fleming, just getting up into the backfield and stopping Williams before he can make any sort of progress. Now a 3rd and 7. Chicago's got to convert this.
Wiseman against pressure, throws it deep. Pass caught there, the 30. Talk about bailout after bailout from Byleth Thomas tonight. Another big catch.
He's been clutch on 3rd downs. And man, Wiseman got rid of this one just at the right moment. Saw Byleth Thomas finally working his way free of the linebacker, working towards the safeties, just dotted it right in between the two. Great throw from Wiseman, great catch by Thomas, and Chicago extends the drive.
Yeah, half second later on that throw, that's probably a safety, as Wiseman was dancing near his own goal line. A nice jump cut of the backfield to get 3 for Jason Williams. He picks up 6 on 1st down. DJ Woods made the tackle.
Coming into this game, Byleth Thomas, 240 yards. He also doesn't have a receiving touchdown, but both Marion and Thomas showing out here tonight.
Strike over the middle to the crossing route. That's complete. Marcus Lloyd, the tight end. Second reception of the game for him. Thomas didn't have a touchdown coming into the game, but he does have the only score for Chicago tonight.
That is correct. That is correct. I stand corrected there. He did get that touchdown in the back of the end zone here. Lloyd has been great as well, working his way free from his tight end spot. And Wiseman has had a good day. Chicago really hasn't played a poor game, really. LA has just jumped out to a quick lead.
Williams, big hole up the middle. The Red Sea of red helmets parted, and that's an 11-yard first down for JW.
And he's continuing to work the middle of that field. It seems every time that they're going off tackle or trying to bounce it to the outside, it's just not working. The blocking isn't there, with the exception of maybe one play. Otherwise, it's just been purely the middle of the field, and it's been working on this drive.
They're going to continue to pound the ball. Williams following the fullback. First down, 11 more yards. That correction, that's Preston. Although with the hole that the fullback created, I think you and I could have run through that for 11 yards.
Oh, absolutely. And great blocking up front. Again, working the middle of the field there. Preston coming in, giving Williams a bit of a blow on that play. And look at Chicago here. Another sustained drive here in the second half.
Inside the 35, into scoring territory with 10 seconds left in the quarter. Williams again with an 8-yard scamper. Correction, that's Preston again, as Williams now comes in off the bench. And that'll be the end of the third quarter. 4's up. We're headed to the final frame. Chicago trying to get down by one possession here as we go to the fourth. Aztecs scoreless in the frame here on the Virtual Football Network. Michael Cirillo, Eric Vincent calling all the action for you here tonight. The first of our doubleheader on VFN. Wiseman in the flat. Williams first down.
And that was a good call with the Aztecs coming out with man coverage there. They were pressing up at the line. You saw Williams just running a little out route. Wiseman doing a good job getting it to him, just converting the first down.
Dallas at Dakota to follow with Mike Daggs and Gerald. And Williams cuts it back, and he's at the 5, and he's cut down at the 2-yard line. First and goal for the Dragons.
And if he didn't get clotheslined right there at the goal line, that was going to be a touchdown. Great cut move there, and that clothesline just saves the touchdown. I believe that was Mark Rogers who had a sack earlier in the game, just coming up and yoinking down Williams before he can hit the paint.
3 plays from inside the 2. Williams likely to get the ball here. He will. He'll be wrapped up and denied. Rain Rie stops the touchdown. 2nd and goal.
And if you watched the Game Day Gauntlet earlier in the afternoon, you know how elusive that 1-yard touchdown has been here today, and it continues to be as Williams loses a yard back to the 2.
I'd like to see something to stretch the edge a little bit. Either a pitch or a weak side delayed run or something. Try to get away from that car crash in the middle of the field.
Play
it looks like Chicago's just going to get, it looks like Chicago's going to go right back to it here. They will run the strong side stretch play, and Williams is in. Jason Williams, touchdown number 4 on this season, and it is an extra point away from being a 3-point ball game.
Yeah, LA clearly playing the middle of the field, anticipating just right up the middle, bully ball instead, off tackle run, absolutely no one there. And Williams gets himself into the paint, and Chicago gets himself an extra point away from making this a field goal game.
Eric Amaro for the extra point. He's got it. 23-20.
What a drive.
This is the closest the game has been since 10 seconds in, and the 75-yard touchdown run for LA.
And we asked for a sustained drive. That's about as good as you could get right there. 12 plays, 94 yards, basically working the latter half of the third quarter into the first part of the fourth quarter, making this now a 3-point ball game. And now if you're LA, you're kind of looking around like, Well, what happened?
Yeah, LA scoreless here in the second half so far. They've had some drives, but of course that last one that looked promising got eaten up by the penalty. If you're LA now, you can no longer rest on your laurels. You can no longer sit on this lead. You got to get out there and get some points because the Dragons are chomping at the bit to get back into this one.
With that guy at the helm, I mean, you've got every chance available to you. He's had a very efficient night, and we'll see if he can continue to do so here.
Shanahan, play action, great blocking on the backside, but fantastic coverage.
Wow.
At the numbers by Kyan Shaw. Take a look at the LA upcoming schedule. New Orleans, Rochester, and Phoenix. They start a 3-game homestand next weekend. Handoff middle. Ingram, nothing. Third down and long.
Ingram continuing to struggle a little bit after getting that initial long touchdown run, first play from scrimmage. Now a 3rd and 7 here. This is crucial for Chicago.
Shanahan, 4-man rush, steps up in the pocket, and goes down! First sack of the game that wasn't on a blitz. Eric Winter sheds 2 blockers and rips down the quarterback.
Man, just what a patient play by Eric Winter, just working, getting himself free, and at the best moment, gets himself into the lap of Shanahan. Aztecs gonna have to punt. Chicago now with an opportunity to take their first lead.
Aztecs still scoreless in the second half. Chicago's gonna have some decent field position and a nice return up the near sideline as well for Boyd. I was about ready to go podcast mode about halfway through the second quarter.
Boy, I tell you, you weren't the only one.
But Chicago has proved us both wrong. Wiseman goes to the underneath route. Williams, not much there on first down. Good secondary coverage for the LA Aztecs.
Chicago has just done a great job about keeping themselves in this ball game, and it all started with their defense. I mean, forcing those field goals early on in the game when LA had the momentum, it has kept them in this ball game to this point.
Deep strike, double coverage, incomplete. Looking for Denard Byam. 3rd and 9. This would be a big stop for LA if they can go 3 and out here.
This would be huge for LA if they were able to get off the field. Byam just couldn't hold on through contact. There would have been a tough catch.
Wiseman scanning, still scanning, has to take the check down, and Williams is going to be short. Marquez Williams drops Jason Williams short of the sticks. 4th and 5.
And you could tell that was like pulling teeth for Adam Wiseman. He was just looking for anything to work free down the field. Reluctantly goes with Williams coming out of the backfield as the check down. He knew it wasn't going to give him the necessary yardage, but you live to fight another day.
We know following the UFL action every weekend can be quite daunting. That means the best place to catch anything you missed is the UFL highlights, debuting every Tuesday on VFN, giving each and every game the highlight recap you deserve. Catch the UFL highlights on the Virtual Football Network.
I tell you what, Michael, one good punter deserves another here. Look at this beauty here from Chicago, able to nail it down at the 1. Ryan Myers getting in on the punting action.
Can a punter be player of the week? Because I think both of these punters have earned their stripes tonight. From the 1, 5 yards deep in his own end zone, Shanahan's going to take the quick option out to the near sideline and pick up a couple yards.
And this would be, man, we talked about huge defensive possessions. It seems like every single one of them has been huge for both of these teams. Now this one would be huge for Chicago if they're able to stop him deep in their own territory.
Underneath, Lars Bizarre. That's his first action since the first half. But he's not close. In fact, gets 0 on the play, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, got knocked back after initial contact, had to work himself backwards, and then got cleaned up. 3rd and 6 now.
Toes on the goal line for Shanahan. Here comes the blitz, and that means the middle of the field is open again. Eric, we've been talking about it all game, and it comes back to bite the Chicago defense right there.
Especially not on a 3rd down, right? You don't want to send it in the middle. You know that the mid blitz is just not working for you here tonight. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head, Michael. It just leaves the middle of the field wide open. Easy pitch and catch for Shanahan on that one.
That was Muhammad, his 3rd catch of the evening. 6 minutes to go, LA by 3 in a nail-biting game. The carry for Ingram gets him up to 130 yards on the night. 6-yard carry on first down. Both of these running backs earning their stripes tonight. It's been a great battle between Jason Williams and his opposite number, Al Ingram III. Here's Ingram again. He got wrestled down to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short.
Aldrin Maxwell just doing work out there.
Upcoming schedule for the Dragons. They end this 3-game road trip. They go on the road to San Diego. And they are home against Vegas and St. Louis. That ball on 3rd and 3 from Shanahan to no one in particular. 4th down.
Boy, oh boy, and we have hit under the 5-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. It's basically witching hour here for this particular ball game. Chicago, an opportunity here in front of them, especially if they can get a decent punt return.
Second opportunity for Chicago coming up to take the lead. Oh, you called it. That punt was almost blocked. It is a boomer, though, from Brian McCabe. Completely flips the field, 20-yard line to 20-yard line. And the Dragons will start from their own 22.
That kind of flipped the script there. You went from uh-oh to uh-oh, yeah.
Chicago went 3 and out on their last drive, their last attempt to try and tie or take the lead. Wiseman on a 5-step drop, throws deep far sideline, tapping the toes. And did he get the catch? Yes. Byam got it. Now 40 yards on the night.
Absolute dime from Wiseman there and some toe drag swag.
Yeah.
And some sprinkles on top.
Shame we didn't get to see a replay of that one. Wiseman going to go to the air again. That pass is tipped and incomplete. Was looking for the comeback route to Thomas.
I don't think he was expecting the reaction there from the defender to really surge forward and make a play on that football. Luckily, he gets to come away for 2nd down.
That's a bullet pass over the middle. Denard Byam makes up for missing that last one.
And on top of that, he sent Thomas to the shadow realm with that stiff arm, Michael.
Yeah, we build this as a matchup of 2 of the best passing attacks in the league and haven't really seen it so far tonight. It's been the battle of the running backs. But Wiseman says, watch this. This is why you bought the ticket. Although maybe not that one, as that one's incomplete over the middle.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of those balls today, but also we've seen a couple of those passes from both these quarterbacks, Wiseman and Shanahan, that are just nutty balls. And it's just something that only the best in the UFL can do.
4-man rush. Wiseman throws middle. That's complete again to Denard Byam. He has been the man on this drive. 3 catches.
And more importantly, that clock just continuing to tick away as Chicago works their way down the field. I mean, there wasn't anybody within 7 yards of Byam on that play. I'm sure that Wiseman was just giddier than a kid in a toy store.
The Aztecs 2-0 on the road in this early season. Their only loss was to Austin at home. After this, they'll go back home for 3 straight in LA against New Orleans, Rochester, and Phoenix. But trying not to drop a second game in their first 4. That was a bad snap and a delayed handoff, only 1 yard on that one.
Yeah, I think the bad snap there really disrupted the flow of that play.
Two receivers both swung out wide to the right. Delayed handoff. Williams bulldozing a defender. He had that linebacker back it up on his tiptoes, and Torres Jenkins just got barreled over there. Third down and 4, massive play. Massive play. They'll give it to Williams, and the offensive line took the bad time to go out to an early dinner. Guess who got his get back? Torres Jenkins.
Well, he was on his toes, and this time, man, just gets off his block with ease. Nice little swim move, working his way through the offensive line. Williams had absolutely no chance. Game time field goal attempt coming up here.
After the 2-minute warning, 2 minutes remaining here in Chicago. Dragons have a chance to tie the game here on the Virtual Football Network. A 38-yard attempt upcoming for Eric Amaro. He got it. Tie game at 23. The first time this game's been tied since it was 0-0 in the opening kickoff.
And boy, as we know, that didn't last very long. It only lasted maybe a couple of seconds before LA was on the board. Great job by Chicago to keep themselves in this game, claw themselves back, and knot this thing up at 23. Now, under 2 minutes to go, you're asking for one more stop from your defense. Give the ball back to your offense with an opportunity to win this game.
Well, my friend, looks like we got another barn burner on our hands. Seems like every week when the two of us do one of these UFL broadcasts, we get a good one.
Absolutely, and I'm here for it, man. I would much rather have games like these than snooze fest going into podcast mode.
From the 24-yard line is where LA will start. 1:53. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. For everything UFL, visit the official league website at UFL.football. That's YOUFL.football to claim a player, learn more about the league, catch up on news and features, and dive into the leaderboards. UFL.football, a partnership with Sidearm Sports. A sidearm pitch and catch right there to Lars Bizarre for a good gain on first down for LA.
Yeah, nice job by Chicago. Came out. Looked like they were going to man up with 2 high safeties. Instead, it ended up being a zone. Covered Bizarre pretty well on that one.
2nd and 4. They go to the check down. Al Ingram looked like he was not ready for that. He thought, I'm just going to go out, be the decoy, get a little chip block. And Shanahan said, oh, here, take the ball.
I don't know if anyone would be ready for that one.
From 2nd and 4 to 3rd and 9. Chicago, one stop from getting off the field. Ingram underneath, spins out of a tackle, can't get away from the second one, fumble the football, and the Dragons have it inside the 30. Breeze got the ball off the turf, and oh, how the turns table for the LA offense.
Absolutely unreal. Ingram just doing his best to try and work his way free from the defender, but I do think that is going to get overturned. I think his elbow hit down before the football jarred free. Would have been a huge turnover for the Dragons, though.
Oh, my goodness. Cameron Booker forced the ball out. Breeze picked it up. And we are under review.
The previous play is under review.
Either way, Eric, it's going to be 4th down. Either it's a punting situation for LA or a turnover. And I agree with you. I think right there he's down and the ball is not out yet. It was the foot of Booker that actually ended up punching that ball out.
Well, and more importantly here, Michael, Chicago is able to save a timeout. The clock stops on this review here. So Chicago now with all 3 timeouts. Ah, there it goes.
LA will punt the ball away. Another fantastic one by McCabe. Getting away from one tackle and getting up to the 25-yard line is Kadir Boyd. 34 seconds, 3 timeouts. Can you get into field goal range? for one of the most unlikely wins we've seen in the UFL over the last 2 years.
This would be huge for the Dragons here.
Wiseman, the throw, the catch on the comeback route, timeout, all caught at the 30 for a 5-yard gain.
That's the beauty of having all 3 timeouts in this situation, Michael. You can go ahead and just run whatever you want to run. If it's caught in the middle of the field, you can call your timeouts. Just work it down the field and then see what the situation looks like at that point.
50, plant. Let's set a tone, fellas. Let's set it.
Wiseman the throw, caught near the sideline. Did they say that he was out of bounds as we shine the spotlight on Eric Amaro?
Doesn't look like he got the catch.
Oh, no, yeah, it was incomplete.
On the ready.
I thought he had that one. 3rd and 5. Chicago with a timeout. 2 left, 25 seconds left. Play action. Williams stays into block, and that buys the time needed to get the ball down the field to Byam.
Man, and I watched Byam make that catch. He turned it upfield to stay in bounds. I was wondering if he was going to be able to get himself out and maybe save that timeout.
Yes, he was.
Tackled out of bounds.
Yeah, that right foot hit in bounds before his progress was stopped. You could see that Mark Rogers was trying to drag him back into the field of play. So Chicago would have to burn that second timeout. You see that red line of the 40. That's the maximum field goal distance that Amaro would be comfortable with. And that is not the play. With 15 seconds left, Chicago has to burn their second timeout.
Nah, that's a bad decision there to check it down to Williams. I mean, especially so close to the line of scrimmage. I mean, nowhere to go. You're really doing no good for your team. You might as well just get yourself out of the pocket, throw the ball away.
13 seconds, 1 timeout left. You got to get 9 yards to be in field goal range. Over the middle, caught by Byam. Final timeout for Chicago. They are not yet in comfortable range. 5 seconds left. What are you doing here? Do you try and run something quick to the edges to get 6 or 7 yards?
I'd say you go to the end zone. Let's see if they do it.
They will run a play. High snap, delayed handoff. First down, fumbled the ball. The time has run out on the clock. LA trying to return it, and he's finally tackled. DJ Woods goes down, and we have overtime. Chaos in Chicago.
Absolutely unreal. Wow.
Oh, can you imagine if Woods had returned that for a touchdown?
Oh my gosh, my heart was in my stomach for Chicago at that particular instance. But here we go, our first overtime game of the season, Michael. Pandemonium in Chicago.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say. First off, Chicago, what are you doing on the draw?
Draw, yeah.
And then the fact that DJ Woods was maybe one broken tackle of ending the game the other way.
Adam Wiseman saved the touchdown rumble going the other way. Absolutely crazy.
LA will get the ball first in overtime. Touchdown on the first possession wins the game. If there's no touchdown on the first drive, the other team, the defending team, gets a chance to score. So all Chicago has to do is keep the Aztecs out of the end zone, and they're still in with a shot. Shanahan looking for it all. Here's the first quarterback run of the game, and you can tell why he doesn't run that much. He looks like a baby giraffe out there.
Neither of these quarterbacks are really known for their running prowess, and I think we saw that right there.
2nd and 5, play action, blitz coming. Great chip block by Ingram, and the pass is complete on the sideline up to the 40-yard line. That pass is caught by Henderson.
Yeah, Scorch able to keep the toes in bounds, and you're absolutely right. Ingram does a good job of picking up that blitzing linebacker. Scorch able to make a nice play along that far sideline, and a first down for the Aztecs.
Remember, the Aztecs need a touchdown to end the game. If they only get a field goal, Chicago will get a chance to respond. If both teams have the ball without a touchdown, then it's first score wins. Underneath handoff. Ingram had such a great first half, but other than that big run at the beginning and then a couple of runs on the consecutive touchdown drive, he hasn't really had much in the second half.
He had 75 yards on that initial touch from scrimmage, and since then he's only had 65 the rest of the game. So it's Chicago doing a nice job with clamping down on Ingram's rushing attack and making sure that he isn't hurting them any more than he did in that initial play.
Come on, set. 18 Gators.
2nd and 11 after the 1-yard loss. Chicago stacks the box. I formation, play action, rollout, throw near sideline, and throw it out of bounds from Ronnie Shanahan. 3rd down and 11.
This is big. As you mentioned, Michael, I mean, keep him out of the end zone, you get an opportunity at the football. But, man, if you keep him off the scoreboard entirely, this is huge.
Shanahan under pressure, almost goes down, gets the pass away, but he can't keep Javon Muhammad in bounds. His pass led him too far towards the sideline, and it's going to be a punt forced by Chicago's defense. Brian McCabe has been excellent tonight. Can he pin the Dragons deep? This time it goes too far and into the end zone.
And so now it's next score wins. And Chicago's got a real opportunity to really complete this full circle and make the comeback. They have not led a single moment in this game.
Hey, pick it up, defense. Let's go.
Remember, Dakota and Dallas coming up next, the second of our doubleheader with Mike and Gerald, as they are waiting in the wings for this one to end. An 8-yard pitch and catch on first down. All Chicago needs is a field goal now.
60 yours. He's coming.
Williams, did he get the first down? It's going to be close. He got it.
Just barely. Looked like it was going to go for a lot more, especially with DJ Woods just whiffing on that tackle there. Great job for LA to limit the damage, but it's a fresh set of downs for Chicago.
First down and 10. The play action under pressure. Wiseman got absolutely sandwiched. Frederick Muses and Cameron Kearse combine on the tackle. 2nd down and 18 after a loss of 8. That's the 2nd time LA's punished that play action rollout tonight.
It's bad news bears when both edge rushers are able to get into the lap of your quarterback. Oh, man, like that's a play that you need to throw out of the playbook.
Now you need something big here on 2nd and 18. Try and work through to the middle of the field. Wiseman will go to the edge, and slipping down after making the catch is Denard Byam. 3rd and 15. Byam a great game tonight, 107 yards on 8 catches.
Yeah, he's been huge in the second half here. Not a whole lot of plays will get you 15-plus yards, but Chicago has shown resiliency in the second half.
Short underneath on a check down to Williams is not going to do the job. Both teams hang on defense, and we will play on here in overtime.
Not a whole lot you could do there, Michael. I mean, the blitz was coming. Wiseman knew he had to get rid of the ball. Just found his check down, was hoping Williams could just make a play and get the necessary yardage. But LA did a nice job defensively on that series to get the ball back to their offense.
Here's the punt from Myers. Has pinned LA inside the 1 before. That one not as good. LA starting at the 24-yard line after the fair catch. Both teams have a big sack on defense in the first possession of overtime, and we go again. Nothing on first down on the run. Marshall Crawford got back there to make the stop, 2nd and 13.
First tackle of the game comes in overtime here for Mr. Crawford, and that's a big one. I mean, really, no one blocked him. He just stayed patient and got himself to Ingram on that play. Great job.
Both teams have had the ball in overtime, so next score wins, doesn't matter how you get it. Shanahan, check down. Again, the Dragons defense swarms to the ball. Kyan Shaw has had a really fantastic game tonight.
And really all these linebackers have played really well. We've seen Aldrin Maxwell, Jamal Sparks, they've had great games. And now we're seeing their counterparts and Shaw work his way to the backfield to take care of Ingram in that backfield there, coming off the swing pass. Now it's 3rd and forever.
Zero Integral in the chat. Welcome to the UFL. Click that link. Go to UFL.football to learn all about the league. Here's a deep strike. It's caught!
Oh.
Lars Bazaar has been invisible in the second half until right there. He pitches his tent 50 yards downfield, and Shanahan finds him.
And what a catch in traffic, too. Like, that was not an easy catch in coverage with Jamal Spencer. I mean, it just very well played there from the Chicago secondary. Bazaar showing up at such a crucial time for his team, like he seemingly does all the time.
And now 1 yard from field goal range. And Ingram's gonna pick it up. 2nd and 5. Now it's just a matter of if, not when, they decide to bring out the big leg of Chris McCray. They'll hand it off. Clock continues to tick down at overtime. LA with a chance to stun the Chicago Dragons in overtime. LA hasn't scored since the 2nd quarter. It may be about to not matter. Another run, first down, picked up by Washington.
Man, and this is just, it's tough if you're a Chicago fan, just watching how this game is unfolding here in overtime. I mean, all it took was just one big play there to Lars Bazaar to really kind of completely fold the house of cards for you. And now you're just stuck waiting to see when the kicker is going to come out and try and attempt the field goal.
That was Washington again, just bleeding more clock here in overtime. It almost feels like a foregone conclusion now. Chris McCray, who's long on the season, is 48, is well inside of that. Now, they're going to throw here. Shanahan backing up, still backing up, takes off to the right, has a block, gets inside the 10. Shanahan with a Houdini act in the backfield. Whoa.
I'm a little more flabbergasted now on what that Dragon defender was doing. He was surging forward. He was just about to get to Shanahan and then backed off as soon as he took off to run.
Here is Chris McKay. 24 yards for the win. It is good. LA in overtime. Moves to 3-1 on the season. And the Chicago comeback is snuffed out.
Man, and I talked about it, Michael. You have got to be absolutely heartbroken if you were a Chicago Dragons fan. That was a great game that they played, and it just ended up being a little bit too little, as Wiseman just cannot believe it.
The Dragons score 13 straight points in the second half to force OT. And LA comes up with the defensive stop, then the deep drive for the chip shot field goal to win it 26-23. 295 passing yards tonight for Adam Wiseman, 260 for Shanahan. The rushing yards very similar. There was a pretty even game throughout. Oh boy, this was a fun one, Eric, and almost had one of the craziest endings in sim football history if DJ Woods had returned a fumble for a touchdown with no time on the clock. We ended up going to overtime, and LA grinds out a win.
And that was a grind. You know, there are games that are just a grind. LA, that is why they're one of the tops in this league. They grind out the win. They move to 3-1. But hey, Chicago can feel good about this game. There's some good pieces there with the Dragons, and they're going to end up being okay. They're just going to have to cross the finish line. Hasn't really happened just yet for them as they fall to 1-3. But this was a great game between two great teams in the UFL.
The Dragons 1-3 now on the year. They'll go to San Diego to play the Wildcats next week. For LA, they maintained just one game back in the Western Conference, and they will hope for the downfall of Dakota tonight so they can tie it up at the top. They will have a light schedule coming up at home against the Claws, Pioneers, and Skyhawks. We got to get out of the way so the second game of our doubleheader can start. Dallas and Dakota coming up next. For Eric Vinston and Cameron Irvine here tonight, my name is Michael Cirillo. Thank you so much for listening, and stick around for game 2 of our doubleheader here on the UFL on the Virtual Football Network.
Week 4 UFL Primetime continues this evening with a championship rematch as the Dakota Rhinos play host to the Dallas Talons. Good evening, everybody. I am Mike Daggs, and alongside me in the booth is Gerald Smith, along with our commissioner and producer, Cameron Irvine. You're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. Gerald, we've got the 1-2 Talons. They are visiting the 3-0 Dakota Rhinos. Dakota's just looked on fire this season. What are you looking for in this one?
Well, and like you mentioned, Dakota, started off this season really good. Tough game early on, but had a couple of really big wins the last couple of weeks. Dallas started out 0-2 after going to the championship last year, but were able to get their first win of the season against Wichita last week, and they have been slowly but steadily starting to turn things around.
Dakota up at top of the Great West Division. Meanwhile, Dallas sitting down near the bottom of the East at 1-2, above only the 0-3 Rochester Pioneers. And we'll see Cameron Duty get things started tonight as a rush goes for -1 to get the game started. Second down and 11 coming up now for the Dallas Talons.
Yeah, Sugi Padre making a very big play, like right off the bat, being able to come in there along with his teammate Pfister.
Second down and 11 now. Cameron Duty hands this one off. Oh, plenty of running room now down to the bottom. Gets up to the 29-yard line. And we will take a look here at the starting offense for the Dallas Talons. You've got Cameron Duty at quarterback, Jeff Wells and Jaden Swift at halfback, wide receiver Rashad Lockley, and Miles Savage. Tight end is Neil Rivers. You saw Ezra Swift at center. Big fella, 6'3", 303 pounds. Cameron Duty in the shotgun now on third down and 6. Throws middle, connects, gets it out to Lockley, and gets a Dallas first down.
Yeah, and Lockley, one of the smaller receivers in the league, coming in at 5'11", right? Taller than me, might I add, but still smaller compared to, most of the receivers in the game are 6 foot plus. But, what a way for him to find himself open, and, Cameron Duty to hit him in stride.
Fresh set of downs now. First down and 10 at the 42-yard line. Handing this one off. Oh, the defense gets right into the backfield, but the tackle is broken. Nice short gain on the play, carried by Swift. And we'll look at the defense for the Rhinos. Some big fellas. Oh, you have all sorts of fisters on the defensive line here.
The whole family of them.
Yeah. Menachem Pfister, you've got Mordecai Pfister, Malachi Pfister on the defensive line. Suki Padre and Nuke Raiden are the middle linebackers. You got Rick Kuhn and Jacob Morrison at cornerback, and Trey Deuce at free safety. Ball is handed off once again to Swift. Another short gain. He's now got 10 yards on today. Third down and 4 coming up.
And Dakota has one of the most impressive defenses in the league, right? We've seen them just, a couple of weeks ago. We actually called one of their games at how they actually turned it up and actually shut down the opposing offense.
Cameron Duty on third down again, connects with his target, but is it enough? And they'll say no. Fourth down and inches coming up. And Gerald, here at midfield, would you go for it this early in the ballgame?
Against a defense like this, I mean, if you're 4th and inches, I do think you should go for it here. I do think, but Trey Deuce, what a way to come in there and actually make sure after the receiver catches it there, you don't allow him to get any more yards. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, they're going to punt this one away. Trey Strong on to punt for the Talons. Punt is going to fly out of bounds. Kind of almost a little bit of a shank. Flies out of bounds at the 29-yard line. And that's where Dakota will take over to get things started. You got Billy Flagg under center. He is the quarterback. Quick pass over the middle, and that one is swatted away by Scotty Scruggs as we get our first look at the Dakota offense. Billy Flagg is your quarterback. You got Liam Sykes, the halfback. Wide receivers, Doug Day, Jake Riley, and Mike Coco. The tight end is Tony Horn Jr. Second down and 10 now from the 29.
Yeah, Bill Flagg being one of the better quarterbacks in the league and has 8 touchdowns on the season, just under 1,000 yards, averaging well over 300 yards passing a game.
He had 4 touchdowns in his last game alone. Gerald, the stats were absolutely incredible. 16 of 22, 234 yards, and 4 touchdowns, no picks. The defense for the Talons, DJ Kilgannon at right end, and Ryan Van Holten, the defensive tackle. The outside linebackers, Josh Payne and Scotty Scruggs. And you got Frank Bernstein at strong safety for Dallas. 3rd down and 9 coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna see how they're gonna happen here. And Flagg isn't afraid to run the ball either, right? He had quite a few yards last week.
Flagg under pressure, sacked, brought down in the backfield, and that drive is done.
A little bit too long. He held on to it. He's doing pelvic thrusts out there after the sack.
It was only 1 pump, I think, maybe 2.
But Barnett able to come through and keep fighting on the line. You know, being able to come through and look like the offensive line kind of vacated him a little bit, right? Maybe expect somebody to slide over and pick him up. But right as Flagg was getting to chuck it deep, Barnett comes in there and brings him down. And what a pretty good start right here for Dallas, right? Being able to slow this offense down.
Unclaimed defensive tackle Justin Barnett, 6'1", 344 pounds. He ain't that tall, but man, he's a load. Dallas returns this one up to the 43-yard line, and they'll get their second crack at it on offense tonight. Cameron Duty in his last game, darn near perfect on the day, Gerald. 22 of 27. So completed almost everything. 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks on the day. Pretty solid performance by Cameron Duty, finally getting all the pieces put together and, getting Dallas their first win on the season. 23-17 over the Wichita Flyers.
And he wasn't sacked at all last week as well, right? He was able to, being able to keep himself clean.
Oh, look at that run right up the gut. 13 yards before he was even touched. Great carry by Jaden Swift. Jaden Swift had about 50 yards last week, Gerald, on 18 carries.
Yeah, and he's got about 5 yards worth of average right now in this game here, right? At a big gaping hole right up the middle, kind of, and it's kind of odd, too, because Dakota has, I believe, the best defensive front in the UFL.
Pass up top by Duty. That one is complete. Wow, ducks under one defender as he gets a short gain. Picks up 5 on the play. We've got Miles Savage, number 17 in your programs and on the field for the Dallas Talons. He's making his debut this week for Dallas, and a little bit of laundry on the field. False start called on Dallas.
Yeah, that's something you can't have playing somebody like the Rhinos and how good they've done. You can't do anything to set you any further back behind the chains.
Second down and 10. Oh, Swift didn't go anywhere. Immediately stuffed. Paudry with the TFL.
Second tackle for a loss today. Paudry just is in there and just destroys it. I was just talking earlier how they have, even though not just right like the defensive front, man, they actually have studs at the second level as well, right? With Raiden and Paudry right there just shooting the gap.
So 3rd down and long. Duty had a couple of these on his first drive and was able to convert one of them. And there is a nice catch by the recently added Miles Savage. Talked about him making his debut, and he gets a big catch. First down for Dallas.
Being able to make that catch and look, and right there, and he was pretty wide open. There was nobody, right? He got right to the sticks and able to make that catch and fought off a defender. Picked him up about 5 more yards after the catch there. But way to keep it going. I mean, because it's been hard for teams to move the ball on this Dakota Rhino defense thus far in the season, especially the last couple of weeks.
5 minutes on the clock here in the first quarter. Cameron Duty throws up to the top. That one is complete and out of bounds for a short gain of 4 yards. Shout out to a few of you in the chat. I see Jesse Fretz, Ronnie Shanahan, Juan Mississippi, Michaela Forker. Ellie Diomez, hiding under the name Antique Accident. What do you think that even means? Anyway, Duty on the field to throw now, 2nd and 6. Pass down to the bottom, 1st down and goal for the Talons. All the way down to the 8-yard line.
And it looks like Dakota doesn't know like how to approach this here, right? They've actually had a little bit of success running, and Cameron Duty. Look, and the offensive line is giving him enough time and holding back that tough defensive front that Dakota brings. And and if you notice it, they're not going deep with any of these routes, right? They're doing a lot of out routes, some stop routes, which is their success and everything else, right? Because they realize, hey, the defensive front is someone that can get pressure if you hold on to the ball a little bit too long. So they're doing a little bit of stop routes, shorter routes.
Run down to the bottom. Oh, one man to beat, and he's not going to beat him. We've seen Suki Padre all over the field tonight, Gerald. 6'4", 238 pounds, but he's fast.
Yeah, and not allowing him to get anything.
No.
When Padre gets his hands on the ball carrier, he's going down.
Ball was handed off once again, and yeah, that one went absolutely nowhere either. That time, Medicum Fister getting into the backfield from the right end position.
Yeah, see, and as they start getting closer right here, this is when you need your studs to come and play ball and make plays, and they've had the last two.
Keep an eye on Lockley down at the bottom. Nope, they go up to the top, wide open. Neil Rivers, touchdown, Dallas.
And that was a mismatch right there. You ended up having Padre back there in coverage to cover Neil Rivers, and it was not happening. Padre lost where he was and just left him wide open right there. But what a way for Dallas, as they looked like, the Dakota defense was starting to slow them down. They were able to come through, and, Dallas made a play on 3rd down, touchdown, up 7.
Extra point is up and good, and yes, indeedy, the Talons out in front early in this one over the 3-0 Dakota Rhinos, and yeah, Dallas strikes first. So for Dakota, they've been just manhandling teams over these past couple of weeks. You saw in week 1 when they took on the St. Louis Rivermen. It was a close game. They got the win, 22-17. But then how about this when they took on the Salt Lake Hornets, a game that you and I called? It was just an absolute drubbing, 41-13. And then even last week when they were visiting Minnesota. And these were the 2 games on the road. The Rivermen game, the close one, was at home. They had 2 games on the road before they made it back here. And they took on the Minnesota Chippers in Minnesota, 34-6, absolutely crushing it. 54-point differential. Yeah.
The last 2 weeks, they beat teams by a total of 54 points the last 2 weeks. It's insane.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. Certainly a recipe for success as they take the field for the 2nd time tonight here late in the 1st quarter. And they start off with a decent run of their own. That one going for a gain of 9 by Seitz. Liam Seitz, 22 carries, 82 yards last week. He averaged just shy of 4 yards per carry, which is a pretty solid number to be running.
Yep, and Seitz, as we call him, he has no neck. I don't know.
Throw up top, finds the hole in the zone and gets the completion. His 2nd completion of the night. That one good to Doug Day, who gets the catch up at the 45-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Rhinos. Ball is handed off. Oh, could not really get going there. He looked like he was running in quicksand. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of 1. Briggs with the tackle.
Yeah, Briggs comes right around and almost looks untouched right there. And you typically don't see Seitz get pulled down by the first defender that gets to him, but Briggs caught him right after he got the ball, and Seitz couldn't do much of nothing.
I formation now on 2nd down. Play clock running down. They hand this one off to Seitz. Tries to get past the line, but could not really get going there. Actually, that one was Lyons with the carry.
Yeah, just getting him in there. Maybe Seitz took a little bit of a shot.
Yeah.
In the backfield there, but it looks like he's back there now. But it's 3rd and long for them.
Flag, play action, throw, middle, has his target. That one is complete. got it out to Doug Day, his second catch on the day. Nets him another first down, 21 yards on that one.
Yeah, Doug Day always want to be a wide receiver in his, in his dreams, and able to live that dream here now, catching it like it's a
Twinkie.
fresh Twinkie.
There you go.
Right over the middle. Look, picking up a huge third down too as well.
For sure.
Being able to pull it in and actually take a shot, hold on to the ball, and as they itch closer to field goal range now.
First down and 10. They go back down to Seitz, who has a huge running lane down the left side, and then finally tackled at the 13-yard line as the final seconds of quarter number 1 tick away.
I thought Seitz was gone, but I would like to see a man with the size of Seitz try to run through the defender.
Yeah.
Don't juke him. Don't try to stop-go him or whatever he tried there. You're like, oh, we tried to little juke him.
You have a foot-tall shoulder pad, and you're going up against a 5'9", 190-pound corner. Truck that man! 1 quarter down, 3 to go, 7-0. Talons, you're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Mike Daggs. He is Gerald Mittens Smith. Appreciate you joining us tonight as Billy Flagg says, I'm going to run with it, and steps out of bounds.
That was a touchdown, Flagg.
At the 10. He lost track of his footsies.
I guess he did. But he had it. I guess he tried to turn up a little bit too soon.
2nd and 7. Actually have room to get a first down before scoring. Flagg under pressure, decides to take off, run with it, gets to the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown Dakota, and they answer back.
Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier, right? Flagg was one that can also run. Like last week, he had 9 carries for 46 yards, and what it does, it causes no number here, finds that there's vacated the middle of the field, and he did what Seitz should have done. Flagg tried to run over a linebacker.
Exactly.
He did do just enough to get himself in the end zone, and now they got the tie. What a way for them to answer as well. And this is why, they sit at 3-0, right?
Yeah.
And we already know they can put up a ton of points. 75 points the last 2 weeks alone.
8 plays, 75-yard drive for the Rhinos, as that gets them back to a tie ball game. Your updated bingo numbers at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully, if you were watching earlier, you did not reset your card. Why? Because the numbers carry over here on Coast to Coast. So hopefully you had all those numbers before, and you can add on to them now. Gerald, I'm very close. I'm not going to say the number.
Okay, so.
But I'm so close to
all
winning.
right, so on this card, it says over 50. What does that mean?
Well,
Can you click 50 and over, just the 50 on your card?
No. Because 50 is not over 50. 50 is 50.
Well, why wouldn't it say 51 plus?
I didn't make it. Because, Gerald, we can't please everyone.
I got it.
So, Dallas back out on the field now at the 25-yard line. They're going to go back down to the ground, but this Dakota defense is absolutely swarming the ball carrier tonight.
Dude, Mordecai Fisher just owned that guard or tackle. He just destroyed him. It was a pulling guard, and that guard had no shot to do anything. Wow. Just destroyed him in the backfield.
2nd down and 11 now. Excuse me, 2nd and 12. 2-yard loss on the play. They'll stick with the heavy formation here. Only one wide receiver. Go with a toss down to the bottom. Immediately met in the backfield. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and that fooled absolutely no one, right? LC Provost just right for the second play in a row. He's coming right off the edge from the safety position, playing down in the box, and was in there so quick.
And if he missed, he had Suki Padre right behind him, ready to lay him out.
2 TFLs in a row. Now it's a 3rd long, but this is where Dakota so far, like especially on the last drive, they have failed to stop them, has been in those 3rd and longer passing situations. So we're going to see how successful Dallas is going to be right here. It's a long.
Yeah, Cameron Duty in the gun now. 3rd down and 17 as this drive has gone nowhere but the wrong way. All sorts of time in the pocket. Duty under pressure, though, and gets sacked. Ripped down on the play by Pfister. Mordecai variety.
Mordecai Pfister was pushing back a double team the entire time. And he
Look
fought
at him
them all,
there.
pushed them all the linemen back into the quarterback, and Cameron Duty didn't have nothing to do.
Wow.
And Fisher was still able to bring him down. That was impressive. You talk about defensive stud.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Mordecai Pfister, 6'1", darn near 300 pounds, just absolutely crushing the offensive line. And Gerald, one of them was the center, number 62, Ezra Swift, who is the best player on that offensive line. He's 303 pounds by himself. So he outweighs Mordecai Pfister, but Pfister's able to push him and the guard all the way back into the quarterback. And Cameron Duty was about to launch that thing 70 yards downfield.
So and it was something that, like, I don't think I've seen that so far this season,
No.
right? You know, and like I mentioned earlier, they have one of the best defensive front in all of the UFL. And it showed right there. Three-man rush and got a sack.
Billy Flag in the gun, throws over the middle to a crossing receiver. It's Tony Horn Jr., the tight end. Completed for 8 yards on the play, second down.
And we're going to see how, because that was a very huge play, not only for Dakota, but we're going to see how Dallas is going to respond after that, somewhat of a momentum shift, getting that huge sack like that. There goes Flag.
Flag, oh yeah, running down the outside, completely unblocked, or excuse me, unabated. He had wide open field, no defenders in the area. He's trying to like direct traffic to block that guy and got tackled by him, but
it was just insane. He's like, no, not you. Somebody else can get me.
Yeah.
Here goes.
Look, a taco, bam, didn't work.
There he is.
Guy's about to kill me.
Maybe he thought he had somebody on his hip to help block. It just wasn't meant to be.
First down and 10. Up at the Dallas 30. Run game struggling for both sides. Sites now with 29 yards on 4 carries.
He's not doing too bad, but we just got they got to get in there and just kind of keep plugging away. That Flag's having a lot of success right now.
Flag over the middle. That one's
he's wide
incomplete. Yeah, just kind of missed his target. Flag now 4 of 6. Third down and 9.
Yeah, Flag got a little bit excited right there and just, as they say, put a little bit too much mustard on it. I'm not a condiment guy myself.
Really? I love mustard.
No, man, you don't. No.
You can't have too much mustard. That's just ridiculous. Flag middle, picked off, intercepted, and going back the other direction. Brought down at the 26-yard line. Great job with the pick.
Wow. Elijah Blades being able to come through and just step right in front of that pass. I want another look at it there to see what Flag was seeing. He did not see him sitting short, right? He had a wide receiver coming across from Flag's right over to his left, and Blades was sitting on the left. Flag didn't see him. Elijah Blades right there, been able to shut that. What a way to turn that momentum around, right? They just turned the ball over. Dallas comes out here. And as Dakota starts moving down, Dallas is able to get there and actually stop him. What a way to try and capture back some of that momentum.
First down and 10 now for Dallas. Oh, weird little juke move that time. Trying to make something happen, and Jeff Wells just could not get anything going there. Jeff Wells was added into this offense mainly to be used as a pass catcher out of the backfield behind Jaden Swift, and that time with a good old-fashioned carry. Just looked a little lost.
He saw all these players on that defense. Was like, let me just try to juke him out. Nope. TFL. That's the 4th straight TFL for.
Play action, and Duty goes down, immediately hitting the backfield by Montgomery, and he is sacked again.
This is 5 straight lost yardages that Dallas has had on offense, right? TFLs, right? 2 sacks, 3 of them, like in the run game, where Dakota is able to bring them down in the backfield, and now they're in another tough situation, just like they were. They were 3rd and 17 before that sack that Fisher had on the last drive.
Cameron Duty now 3rd down and 18. Has time, getting ready to launch it 70 yards downfield again. This time he gets the ball out, has his target. It's caught all the way to the end zone. Jeff Wells with the touchdown for the Talons.
And what a play, because Jeff Wells got the running game. He's like, that is not why I got on this squad. I am a pass catcher. Someone lost track of Jeff Wells, and he was 5 yards beyond anyone, and he just chucked it downfield. 82-yard touchdown catch by Jeff Wells. What a way to make an impact, and you sign and join this team this week. Wow.
Couple of big catches on the week here in the UFL. Wichita with an 85-yarder earlier today, and now 82 yards to the house for Dallas. That, Gerald, is how you convert a 3rd and 18.
That is how you convert a third. That is how you catch momentum. You have 5 straight plays where you went backwards.
That's
and
right.
how do you get it back? You get it back all that and more all at one time. And guess what? I'm looking at the over 50 there. I guess
there you
it's
go.
Over 50.
Check that off
It's
the
already
list.
in there.
It already was, but if you didn't have it checked off, check it off now.
Yep. If you got an 82, I don't think there's 81.
There's
82.
not, no, because it's all encompassed by over 50.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
We're not over 50 yet.
No. But doctor tells me
That's
that
not gonna
when
last long.
When you poisoned me, the doctor says, nope, you don't get the antidote. You got to live through it
I
if you
know.
live.
That's so weird.
So
Listen, for all we're going to make a PSA right
you
now.
go.
If you're 50 or older, get your shingles vaccine. If you're under 50, apparently you can't.
tough luck.
Tough luck. Just hope for the best.
That's terrible. It's terrible. It's the most painful thing I've ever been through in my life for like almost 2 months.
Kick goes down into the end zone. They'll kneel that one out to the 25-yard line. That is the longest catch by a halfback in UFL history, 82 yards.
It's insane.
And that's why you add a guy, like Jeff Wells. We saw him in the run game, was less than impressed.
Yes.
So they're like, all right, just run straight.
He probably went to the sign and said, this is not why you signed me.
All right, Dakota back out on the field now. Liam Seitz gets a carry. 5 rushes, 40 yards. Solid average so far on the day for Seitz.
Yeah, he's doing. Dude, Seitz and his athletic wear. Man,
It's a choice.
he walked in and said, "Give me the biggest shoulder pads you got, equipment, man."
And then when he saw him, he's like, bigger! And they had to special order him. But look at him go!
Wow.
How can a man with that few aerodynamics to him make moves like that and
Dude,
be successful?
and he's got like nearly, he's got over like 9 yards of carry here right now. And look at him, he just makes a juke move and everything else. His head can move. I guess he does have a neck because he actually looked to the right there to juke blades
Not
out of
by
that
much.
interception on the previous
He
one.
kind of turned his whole body there.
Right, but Seitz, like, what a way for him on these first 2 plays, just in 2 plays to get his team across the 50.
Billy Flagg in the gun now just across Dallas territory. Flagg throws, into heavy traffic. That one's incomplete.
Wow.
Questionable choice. 50% completions on the day for him so far, Gerald. No touchdowns, 1 pick. That after a 16 of 22, 234-yard, 4-touchdown, no-pick performance. And with that interception, all 3 quarterbacks that had no picks on the season coming into the day have all thrown a pick. It's not a great day to have a perfect pick record.
Yeah, absolutely not. But hey, today credit. Look, it took 3 and some change weeks to get him.
Yeah, it's not bad. Flagg in the gun here on 3rd down and 4. 3 receivers up to the top. Flagg says, I'm going to take it myself. And he slides past the first down marker and gets the first down. He's lucky, though, because it looked like he started that slide just a smidge before the line to gain.
Yeah,
So
it was flailing. It looked like he was maybe trying to quit his slide. Watch this, because he slid and was turning like, he just floated
Kinda
off a little
fell.
bit. I'm not quite yet. Like he was floating for just a little bit.
It's a good thing he doesn't play baseball. Because can you imagine a guy sliding into second like this?
That was not a very good slide.
No.
That's why he plays football.
That's it.
Couldn't get the slide quite done.
Not quite. It's close. It's a work in progress. Flagg back to throw. Has time. Pressure on its way, though. Gets the ball out, and it is
you gotta catch
incomplete. Yeah, he does. Mike Coco gets his hands on the ball, but He got rocked by the defender.
But man, like it was. I don't know. You still got to catch that, in my opinion, because man, you would have had yourself in really, really good real estate.
Sights tackled after a short gain. JW says he looks as aerodynamic as a lobster. There's a lot of things that I could use as a comparison to the like, you know, semi-truck, brick wall, refrigerator.
Aerodynamic.
JW's like, you know what he reminds me of? A lobster. Tried to get the screen pass out. That was incomplete. Just saying.
All right. I would have said as a cinder block. Like, it's just really square.
How about anything rectangular?
He's boxy. Like, I don't know. 54-yarder.
Yeah, 54-yarder coming up. That won't help your bingo hopes, but it will help the he missed it.
He missed that right there. Wow. And that's huge. That gives Dallas really good field position now.
Wide right. Words to live by.
Wow.
Or die by.
Only if you're of a certain fan base.
Camera Duty 8 of 8, perfect on the day, and look at those yards now. It looks like he's been like really chucking the rock all around. His passes have been like 3 yards apiece, and then he's like, oh, and also this 82-yarder.
Yeah, I'll just hit Mr. Wells.
Duty down to the bottom. He gets another nice big one here, as that one is caught. A little bit of rack on that one. Nice completion down to Isaiah Taylor, unclaimed wide receiver.
Yeah, and it was. He's like, yeah, man, we got a chunk down there this time, and he just leaked out there. The DBs didn't know who they wanted to cover. They wanted to cover the guy short right there, but threw right to a spot. Duty did, and is, able to hit Taylor in stride right there. And they're right back. Look, they have a shot now.
They do
to go up 2 scores.
They really do. I mean, they did score to start the game, but then Dakota answered right back, and I thought, oh, here we go. Here comes Dakota, but really. Talents. Wow, look at this catch all the way down to the 4. They'll mark it at the 5. Climbed the ladder. Neil Rivers caught it in traffic. He scored the touchdown on the opening possession. Well, I think it was the second possession for the Talents, but gets another nice catch there.
Yeah, Neil Rivers kind of posted up right there. Got his 6'4", 240-pound frame right in front of the DB and just went up and grabbed that one down. Got up, dropped the ball, probably said a few words. You see staring at him right there just for a little bit.
Jacob Morrison in on the coverage. He should stick to running.
Yeah, let's not. Yep.
First down and goal. Oh,
wow.
Almost with an offsides call. They hand that one off. And Swift tackled for a loss on the play. Second and goal from the 6.
Yeah, and they got it. Rayton looks so much smaller than everybody else in the front 7 for this squad here, right? He looks so much smaller, but it makes plays. Along with the huge Fister family.
It is incredible how many there are. 2-minute warning here in Dakota. Talon's out in front 14-7 and in possession of the football, looking to score again. This is the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. Duty from the gun, throws short of the end zone, complete.
Oh, held them down at the 1.
Third down and goal now from the 1-yard line. I thought Wells might actually score his second touchdown of the ball game.
That's why they signed him, to catch. Why not make him a wide receiver in that case and just put him in the backfield? I don't understand.
We're going to use you creatively. You're just going to look like a running back.
They gave him the ball one time in the run game. So
lined up back there again. He takes the handoff and runs right into the end zone. Touchdown, Talons. And they have extended it to a 2-touchdown lead. Jeff Wells, 1 receiving touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown for Dallas.
And there he's actually showing him, hey, it was worth them picking him up and putting him on the field, right, in consecutive drives, being able to put up a touchdown. And this is huge for any team that has played Dakota to get this type of lead here.
Yeah.
On them because of how their defense can shut down, and they've actually now have exceeded the amount of points that Dakota has given up the last 2 weeks. Dallas has 21. And Dakota has only given up the previous 2 weeks 19 points on only 1 touchdown, and they've given up 3 here today.
Number 1 and 21 off your bingo cards. Joshua Doer proposing a question. So now I have to ask, will lobsters or Jeep Wranglers develop wings first? Gerald, usually it's our conversation that takes things off the rails and really sends the broadcast in a different direction. Today, the chat's trying to do it on their own.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's called progress, Mike. We've now reached our audience, and they now know what happens in these types of broadcasts.
I was like, oh, it's these two? What's the weirdest thing that we can think to talk about? A winged lobster would be weird. Do lobsters, all right, what do lobsters breathe? They don't have gills, do they?
I have no idea.
But I don't think they breathe air. They must have gills.
They don't have gills. What does a crab have? They're just like a crab, that crustacean. What do they do?
I don't know. All right.
Yeah, no, they have lungs. Crabs have lungs.
Well, I think everything has lungs. Well, not everything. Jeep Wrangler doesn't have lungs. Focus. It's inside 2 minutes. First down for Dakota. They go into the hurry up at the 37-yard line. Flag hands this one off. They're still going to stick to the ground game. They have all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're not panicking right now, right? Because they know what their offense is capable of, right? And they can strike, right? Really, really quick. Flag doing a lot in with his legs and actually doing stuff, good in the passing game over the course of the season thus far.
Inside the final minute of the first half, Flag up top.
Wow.
And that one's incomplete. It would really behoove them to try to get some points on the board here before the half.
Yeah, that was it almost seemed like somewhat of a weird throwaway. I know Flag didn't mean to throw it away. It's kind of just carried out that way, but it looked kind of crazy because he had the guy open on the edge.
Another complete miss on the pass there for Flag.
Yeah, and he's 5 for 13, man. He's got less than 50% completion right now, and that was a bad miss. I don't know if it was a miscommunication between the wide receiver and the quarterback there. It looked like it. Looked the receiver was stopping, and maybe the wide receiver is supposed to do some sort of an in route, but now they got a punt.
His helmet's sinking into his uniform, Gerald.
Dude, they just
who?
I think whoever raised the Pfister family was like, we're watching 60s and 70s football. This is how you play.
Wow, look at this punt.
This is your equipment. That's what you're wearing.
I think it's the entire equipment manager for Dakota. I don't know. JW says that lobsters do have gills, as we see a nice little highlight reel here for Dallas. So a winged lobster wouldn't really work unless it would have to stay by the sea, because it would have to hold its breath while it's flying around, right? But I guess there's the flying fish. Yeah, but that's more of a gliding fish.
It comes with, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a lobster could do that, but they don't go that fast though.
No, they crawl.
Anyway, we're gonna come out here throwing, and timeout called for. That was by Dallas. Throw a short gain and then a one yard pass. Ali Diomas says, I would say I'm concerned, but this seems normal. It is. Oh, and you know what, Ali? She lives down in Australia. If there was going to be some sort of like freak creature animal, like a winged lobster, that's where it would be. Australia's got some of the strangest animals that exist.
The only place that has the roos, huh?
Dude, he throws a very similar pass, another short one down to the bottom, right back out at the 20-yard line. So
he is still perfect.
He is.
On the day. 13 for 13 on the day.
He threw one for a yard, now one for -1. Completion's a completion, though. Killing his average, but he is perfect on the day.
Man, he's got Jeff Wells who can hit downfield. New Rivers tearing it up, too, whenever it's thrown to him as well.
Primetime football tomorrow night. New York at Rochester, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Looking forward to that one. Being from Rochester and all, it's a nice place if you like snow in April.
Crashes on the road in April.
Well, people can't drive in the snow.
They can't drive at all in this area of the world.
Yeah, I agree. So questionable decisions there. Like, why not just run that one
I
out?
was about to say, yeah, why not just run it and do everything? And because your decision to throw would have been, they threw and it was an out route at the sideline where your guy went out of bounds, stopped the clock.
Yeah.
It just offers so much stuff. Just get your quarterback to run, get him to just go and slide down, and just use the rest of the clock.
It looks like Dakota might actually try something here, unless they're just going to hand it out. No, flag is going to throw, and
Out of bounds.
completely miss again. He has just looked off tonight. 5 of 14, if you can believe it.
He is not looking like the flag especially from last week, right?
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. 16 for 24.
Or even when we saw him play at Salt Lake, he was playing absolutely phenomenal. This just looks off right now. Flag with a short completion. Nope, incomplete. Got absolutely rocked. Sights just got hit. Scotty Scruggs.
Blew him up. I
did.
don't think Sights was ready for the ball. He's like, why would you throw it to me if we're
He's like,
throwing?"
well, I don't want it. He should have just swatted it down. Flag deep down the left side. That one into double coverage. Could have been picked off. Now 9 seconds to go and 4th down. To punt it back. The 2-minute drill by both of these teams has been
terrible.
atrocious.
Like, and I don't understand by both teams, right? I get that, Dakota is kind of saying, hey, look, we need to get something going there. Look, man, you have limited amount of time right here, and then you're throwing it in double coverage, and getting yourself in a situation. What a way to knock it out too, right there. But like, I don't know, man. I felt like the last couple of things was a little bit dangerous by both teams, especially within the last minute.
9 seconds to go, so this should send us to halftime shortly. Dakota will get the ball to start the second half. See one final play. Gerald, this chat is just off the rails. Anybody that's tuning in for the first time, ignore the chat. We don't know who those intruders are or what they're talking about. This is a football program. I don't know what they mean by this lobster silliness. Although Rob Ems does say if it wasn't Australia, it'd be a poisonous lobster. It's true. It'd have fangs somehow. Heading to halftime, it's been all Dallas. A little bit of a surprise in this one. The Talons up 21-7 over the hometown undefeated 3-0 Dakota Rhinos. Gerald, as we see some halftime highlights, your thoughts so far on the first half?
It's been the Dallas passing attack so far, right? Because Dallas hadn't been doing a whole lot in the run game and everything else, as we see right here. And this was the big play to have, which turned that momentum around for them and actually got them going, right? Especially on the road. And they were able to just capitalize on that, get a turnover, turn that directly into points. And Mr. Wells getting his, second touchdown, of the game right there. But so far this season, I don't think we've ever had Dakota at any point this season beat down by 2 scores.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is new territory for Dakota right here, right? But Dallas is no stranger to success right here. Know this team pretty well from not that long ago from the championship.
24 minutes of game time remains here in this one as we get ready to start the second half. I'm Mike Daggs. He is Gerald Smith. Cameron Irvine, our producer, back at VFN HQ. Appreciate y'all joining us tonight, even if you are talking about winged lobsters in the chat.
That's it, baby. We gonna work.
I don't know why they would talk about such silliness, Gerald. Billy Flagg has struggled, but Liam Seitz doing a pretty solid job. 9 rushes, 68 yards, 7.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder why they aren't leaning a little bit more on the run game right now, because Flagg himself is doing good in run game too. He just doesn't have it so far. At least in the first half, he didn't have it in the passing game.
Play action. They will hand that off. Not play action. They're going to hand that one off to Seitz as he's able to pick up a solid gain and add on to his impressive day. And it's definitely not time to panic yet, obviously. Like, they are down 14, but 2 full quarters to go. This game could get flipped completely on its head.
See, and we've seen it like the last game we called for Dakota as well, right?
Yeah.
And they won that game. The game was pretty tight up until half, but then Dakota started just establishing their dominance, and their defense stepped up and shut the opposing team down, and they blew them out of the water the second half.
Going back down 2 sites again. Absolutely swarmed by the Dallas defense. Juked the wrong way, I think.
Yeah, he did, man. If he would have stayed to the left and followed, his blocker, Tony Horn Jr., was leading the way for him, and he went right instead of following Tony Horn Jr. So I think that was a mistake by Sites right there because he could have had a lot of yards.
2nd down and 7. Up at their own 39-yard line. Sites hit behind the line of scrimmage. Gerald, he just looks slow that time. Like, that's the one thing I've noticed from Sites is he's big, he's fast, he's powerful, but after he's got a couple of runs in him, he slows way down.
And on that, he also seems like a back that needs that lane. If he has that lane, he's got it, he's get it. But if you get him in the backfield, it seems like he doesn't get his momentum, and he's fairly easy. Not that any back's easy to bring down, but he's fairly easy to bring down, especially for the talent they have on this Dallas defense.
They got to go to flag on 3rd down. That time he finds his target, and that one is complete. Tony Horn Jr. with the catch. 6 of 17 though now. 6 of 17. That's crazy.
And that's the best pass we've seen.
It really is.
From flag in over a quarter now.
Well, he had all kinds of time in the pocket there too, but it was good ball placement. He's had time in the pocket on that 2-minute drill too, and was missing his target by 3-4 yards apiece.
He was rushing it or something, or maybe he had to go back there and get his orange slices and pickle juice. I don't know.
Maybe a lobster roll.
Yeah, maybe he got that poisonous lobster out of the system.
Yeah. Ball is handed off.
He outran that guy.
Well, a little bit of a fresh running back out there as they go down to JR Lions.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, so the DN was on the end saying, "Yeah, I got my contain," but then once that running back just took off, and he didn't have the speed to keep up with him.
2nd down and 2. They hand that one off as well, and that time going to AJ Higbee. Sheesh.
Yeah, you'll
I got there.
Yeah. 5'9", little guy. 5'9", 5'8".
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Okay.
I'm bigger than
I'm
that.
5'8.5". Okay.
Again, here's another one.
Yeah, just couldn't find room to go, and that's going to bring this drive to a halt, and they're outside of field goal range, I'd say.
And this is the thing, and they're coming off a missed field goal right on one of their previous drives as well, but man, like, if Sites doesn't have that lane to run and the defender's right there, he struggles to fight his way through.
I'm wondering if winged lobster, if the wings would have lobster meat too. Wow, they're going to try a long field goal. This one from 56 yards.
They had the distance last time.
Good snap, good hold, kick on its way. It looks long enough, is it? And it is good. He gets that one through, adds 3 points onto the board. So cutting into the deficit a little bit. Nice kick by A.J. Horn.
Yeah, A.J. Horn missing one early on in the game from 54, and makes this one from 56, 2 yards longer. But what a way to get themselves back on the board. I guess it gives them a little bit of something, right?
Yeah,
than what they have, because they haven't had a whole lot of success recently.
It's points on a drive, and they haven't had that but once this game so far. So no new bingo numbers for you. Over 50 and 10 we're already off the bingo card, but there are the current numbers. You can see over 50 and 10 were called much earlier on in the previous game. So second longest field goal of the season. The longest was actually by Horn in week 1. It was 57 yards in this stadium here.
He's got a boot.
Let's go. Let's do this.
A.J. Horn is Finkel. Finkel is A.J. Horn. Sorry.
Couldn't help it.
I couldn't help it. My apologies.
And look, and as we see some of the highlights from from Dallas's first half right here, and they had a really good offensive game plan, especially in the passing game, which is where they had all of their success was in the passing game. Servers, I think had 17 yards at the half on the ground, but I think they had 190 or something along that way in the air.
Duty to get the second half started, throws yet another completion. 15 of 15 on the day, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. My goodness.
Dallas has picked up on something, on this defense right here that they feel like they can exploit, right? Because it seems like the strength of this, Dakota defense is in the front seven, because they've been exploiting everything on the back end right now.
Heel Rivers with another catch on the day. He's been having an absolutely fantastic performance here in this one. Dallas with now over 200 passing yards on the day, and they'll go back down to the ground. And, hey, you know, listen, we saw a run by Jeff Wells early on. We're like, he shouldn't carry the ball. What's he done since that time? Well, he got a great receiving touchdown, but now he's starting to get involved in the run game. Just got one for 9.9 there. We saw him get a touchdown earlier on.
He's like, he's got confidence in him now.
Yeah, he's like, I know how to run too. That one is play action. Duty throws it up top. Oh, misses his target. First incompletion of the day by Cameron Duty.
Wow. I would be mad because I'm like, dude, you had it in your hands. You need to get it in, and you need to reel that thing in. I'm trying to go for perfection right here.
They're down in inches for the Talons. They're going to hand this one off, getting the inches they needed. And that one is good for a first down. Jaden Swift getting back in on the action. And, you know, Gerald, last season, there was only one time that a quarterback didn't throw an incompletion all game. That was Joe Francis, and it was against Dallas, who Cameron Duty plays for. But Joe Francis was just 10 of 10. So a 15 for 15 start, pretty solid performance.
Yeah, pretty darn good.
Especially when that one could have been caught.
It could have been caught, but it makes you even more frustrated that it wasn't caught, especially when it's, you know, should have been easily catchable.
Should have been. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But they're just looking really good on offense right now.
They really are. Duty play action again. Has time. Oh, he's going to go all the way to the end zone. And it's a jump ball, and it's incomplete. Went for it all there, Gerald.
Yeah, and I don't know why he threw it to him. He had a guy that was coming across the field that was somewhat open, but receiver had a chance, though.
His perfect game's over. He's like, I'm going deep now. Okay. Duty hands this one off. Swift with a couple of moves and gets, that was Wells. A couple of moves, gets a short gain of 3 yards on the play. Third down and 7 coming up now from the Dakota 40.
Yeah, I think this is a bigger third down for this Dakota defense than it is for the Dallas offense.
Duty to throw, complete, middle, and some good yards after catch there. Once again, we see unclaimed wide receiver Isaiah Taylor with the catch and the first down.
And that's his 5th reception on the day, right? Just coming right across, and you can see that Dakota brought a blitz right over, you know, kind of off the edge, sent a couple of guys, sent a linebacker and a DB right in there, and left some space over the middle of the field, and Dallas didn't miss. Because what they're not doing, I think Dakota doesn't need to blitz to get pressure with the people they have, but when they are blitzing, they're not getting there.
Robert Henson has entered the chat. Cameron Duty back to throw under pressure and sacked. A big loss. We've seen this a few times tonight, Gerald. That's another one by Mordecai Pfister.
Yes, second one for Mordecai Pfister, right? And they brought a linebacker off the edge right here, right? But it was the defensive lineman that fought his way through to be able to bring down the quarterback there. Like I said, you only got 4 people coming in right there, and you can see, I mean, you know, you got 3 guys that were able to get through out of the 4 that was getting pressure there. So you know, you don't need to send extra DBs in there, right? Keep it back, because that's where Dallas is doing their damages in the passing game on you.
Second down and 21. Nice pitch up to the top by Swift, and he had all kinds of room, Gerald, and just made a really poor choice.
He just had to follow his blockers, and he's like, no, the blue jersey's look inviting.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to hug a Rhino.
I totally wouldn't.
No?
No, indeed not.
Had it?
No.
Cameron Duty to throw. Short crossing route is complete to Jeff Wells, but not nearly enough for a first down. And we've got a 42-yard field goal try coming up.
Yep. And
maybe 43.
Well,
we'll see where they snap it to.
I seen someone earlier saying they needed, I believe it was 43 and 19. So we'll see exactly
12,
where the spot is. See if somebody's gonna get a field goal kick. See what the official mark's gonna be.
They're gonna call this one.
That looks like it might be.
I don't know.
There's no and a half.
42 and a half rounds up to 43, right? I don't know. Field goal is good. We'll have to see the official word from the league office. 42, to the dismay of bingoites everywhere.
Because I know we got people, like I said, it was 42.
Not if you round up.
Boo. Give the people what they want.
It's let it be written, let it be done. It's 42. 24-10, Dallas with a nice lead back out in front of Dakota by 14. You know, we saw them up 21-7, and Dakota struggling. They did manage to get some points here in the second half. Only a big field goal, 57-yarder, I think, 56, 57-yarder. And but now Dallas able to answer right back with a field goal of their own. And see, Henson
That's
had 43.
That's why it's 42, Robert.
Yeah, it would have been 43, but Henson showed up.
No bingo stamp off for you.
Oh, nice hit on the kick return there, up to the 21-yard line. Holiday with about 8 yards per return. And Dakota's offense coming back out on the field now. Doug Day, the highlighted man here. He's caught half of what's been thrown to him for 44 yards. And, Doug Day growing up couldn't afford a jugs machine, but his dad used to just wing Twinkies to him, full speed, and said, Doug, catch.
So much so that whenever you're in his presence, he has a box of Twinkies, and he gives it to you and says, I need you to throw this to me.
Yeah. One Twinkie at a time.
That's how he practices.
Second down and 8. Sights with some nice moves. Almost. He'll get up to the 100-yard mark soon. 87 yards on day. Third down and 2 coming up. Dakota needs this drive to continue.
Yeah, look, and this is something right here. I think if he doesn't find something pretty quick or that's easy for him, I do think just hand it off to Sights. Why not?
Sights gets the first down. Now this is where I'm interested to see what they do, because they have a first down and 10, commonly a running down. Do they keep Sights out there? Because if they do, watch his speed. He's looked slow after he's had a few carries.
I would keep him out there. I would. He's got 87 yards on the day, right? He's one of the bright spots on the offense. And look, and that's not saying Flag isn't having a good day in the run game, but he isn't having one in the passing game right now. Like lean on your studs in the run game right now.
Flag hands this one off, and they do hand it off to Sights. He gets bottled up right back at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Second down.
Yeah, that defensive line and everybody there, they got so much penetration. They actually pushed the actual offensive line back a little bit.
That was nothing on Sights' speed. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah, Sights didn't have much of nothing.
Go back down to the ground again. This time they put the backup in and let him get a carry. J.R. Lyons gets a gain of 3, but a third down and 7 now.
Yeah, and we're going to see what's going to happen here. I mean, because we haven't been mentioning a whole lot of names. You know, Jake Riley, Mike Coco had a drop, right? Horn Jr.'s out there.
Flag fading away. Gets the completion out to Sights, and he gets the first down. I thought that was just a throwaway.
We saw that same type of screen called earlier in the game, and when Flag threw it, he ended up throwing it at Sights' feet. But this time, he let them get a little bit there and threw it right out in front so Sights can reach for it and run right to it. And what a way for them to convert that third down. And that was not in a way I was expecting either. I wasn't expecting a design screen pass. It's one thing I hate about some teams, right? A lot of pro teams, it's 3rd and 12. We're just going to do a screen pass. Like, come on, man.
See if they get the snap off before the end of the third quarter. They do. Flag to throw. No, to run. Flag with all sorts of space up the middle. And Flag looks like he's twice as fast as Sights on that one. Good run by Billy Flag. 3 quarters down, 12 minutes to go here from Dakota. The Talons out in front, 24-10, but the Rhinos charging ahead, trying to get some more points. You're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Mike Daggs. He is Gerald Smith. Cameron Irvine on production. And a completion by Flag up top. Good for a first down to the 23.
Yeah, I think the pass catcher there forgot where he was. He was about 2 yards short of the sideline, but Flag himself in the run game has got like nearly 12 yards per carry.
Flag in the gun now on first down. Quick pass down to the bottom, and that one is complete to Tony Horn Jr. Good for 7.
Yeah, being able to get there, look, and they're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm now, right? I think they're feeling really good about where they are, right? But it's up to Dallas now to kind of slow them down because I do think, especially the way Dallas has held on to the ball offensively, it's important for Dakota right here, I think, to get a touchdown, because they haven't been down here very often, especially in this area right here. They only have one touchdown to kind of show for it. You know, being down here right now, and they have one field goal made and another one that was missed.
Second down at 3. Ball handed off to Seitz, bottled up behind the line of scrimmage. He'll get about 2 on the play. 3rd down and 1 now coming up. They really don't want to settle for a field goal.
No, you do not. In my opinion, I do think this is 4-down territory. I could be wrong, and maybe they won't do it, but I do think it is.
Flag hands it off to Seitz. Seitz gets the first down and keeps the drive going. Only a gain of 2, gets him up to 95 yards on the day, but the most important thing, fresh set of downs.
Yeah, look, and that's not what I would call. Seitz looked like he was stumbling around a little bit. What's going on? But
halftime beverage.
Yeah, I guess so.
He'll be fine.
If you built like that, wear them shoulder pads. You built different.
So first down and 10. Up at the 12. Flag in the gun. Looks, fires.
Whoa.
Completes. Horn with the catch. Gets about only 3 yards.
Flag played with fire there. If Horn didn't sky up, we was looking at another interception by somebody. Because that was too high. He should not have thrown that ball that high, but
6'4" Horn can catch it though.
Yeah, he got up, went up and got it.
He
so
did. Okay.
Don't be surprised if you actually see Flag run.
Empty backfield. Keep an eye on it. Flag to throw. No, he's going to throw this one. Gets it complete. Falling just short of the end zone. Wow, unbelievable. So close.
At the 1 right here. So what do? Do you just give it to Seitz? You let Flag do his thing?
I'd give it to Seitz here. He's not back there, though. They hand it off to Lions. No, Flag rolls out, throws back of the end zone to the cameraman. Incomplete. Cameraman, the intended target on the play. His first target.
Yeah, but Flag could have kept rolling out, man. That was a touchdown all day long.
And now he's in the shotgun here from the 1.
Yeah, and this is Seitz all day right here. I do think so. He's gonna be handing this off.
Second down and goal. Flag looks, has time, decides to run with it. Can he get in? No. Wrapped up and tackled at the 2. So it's actually a 1 yard. Well, about 1 yard sack on the play. So
I don't understand the last 2 play calls. I feel like they fooled no one, right? And then, oh man, like I just shoot, man. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's just a bad couple of play sequences that were called. And
yeah, I'd like to have seen that one get handed off to Seitz.
Right, and if
all 3 times.
If they run right here and they fail, I'll be like, you could have done that 3 straight times and maybe got in.
Yeah, Seitz in the backfield. Now they'll hand that one off. But they had 6 on the line, Gerald. Wasn't even close. Dallas more than ready for that one, and we could see that from up here. I mean, 6 on the line with a couple of defenders right behind it. You had no chance.
Right, and this is the thing right here. In my opinion, I think a field goal does them no good here. And I almost think like it's 4-down territory. I mean, Dakota put themselves in a terrible situation there. I mean, you have a guy in Seitz who's getting it like a gazillion yards a carry, it seems like.
Now they're going for it. 4th down and goal from the 5. Flag in the gun. Can they get into the end zone? They throw, and that one is caught, but it's caught by the defense. Intercepted in the end zone, and they won't even get a field goal on this drive.
See, and I understand why they went for it there, because, hey, if we don't get it, hey, we done got them pinned back, at their own 5-yard line.
Yep.
But in that situation, you can't throw a pick. He forced it in a place that was not even open. He just threw it. I mean, give yourself more time. You've had great success in rolling out and creating space for yourself, and you yourself, Flag, has had a lot of success running the ball and breaking the pocket.
I don't know if you saw that, but Doug Day, the receiver in the area, actually put his hands up afterwards like, what was that? Almost looked kind of like beside himself, like, why would you throw that pass?
Or even he threw it too flat for sure.
Yeah, great interception, though, by unclaimed free safety for the Dallas Talons. That's Jordan Palmer with the pick, ready to be picked by you if you want to join the league and claim yourself a free safety who just got some stats. So the Talons now going to be in some clock running mode, perhaps, as Duty says, "No, I'm going to throw it way over the middle." So shows what I know. 17 of 20 as they started off. 15 of 15 since that time. He's been kind of average.
Yeah, kind of average. And then look, they're going for the jugular here. Just there. We're like, man, you could waste some clock.
I respect it.
Don't give the Rhinos any more time.
Nah, don't take your foot off the gas. Just keep throwing.
And now they got a punt. It's
Now they
a
got a
3 and
punt.
out. That's not what you wanted after that big stop you had like that.
Looking back at the chat, looks like we got Portia Henson, we got Robert Henson both in the chat. Michaela Forker says the Hensons are here, and I can't help but picture like some medieval type scene. You get like the king and queen walking in, and then you get the little court jester, Michaela walking in with a little trumpet. The Hensons are here, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we see them."
Rise.
Yeah. Thank you for the update, Michaela Forker. Punt back to the 19-yard line. What a nice move on the return. And that's the sort of thing that could spring Dakota back into this one. Is they need some help by defense or special teams in addition to what they're doing on offense.
Yeah, and they gotta do a lot more than what they've been doing. I mean, the defense hasn't been great, right? The pass defense has not been very good this game at all. Run defense has been great. But look like they're just going back and they're going to start slinging it out. We're going to see if Flag can somehow rebound his team here.
Yeah, he's got to get something going here, and we've seen this too often, Gerald. At the 2-minute drill, it was nonstop throws well outside of the range, the radius, as you say, of the receivers.
Yeah, he's overthrown a lot, and it's been a lot on the sidelines too, like toward the hash marks on the side. He's been just missing wide receivers quite consistently.
Flag on second down. Finds his target there. Wow, that one was a tight pass and a dangerous one, too, because you're throwing it right back at Jordan Palmer, who picked you off on the last drive.
Yeah, and Tony Horn being able to come up with a huge catch right there, right? Flag had lots of time, good protection, right? But, man, it was in a tight spot there. But that's what they need, right? They need to get themselves in situations like that. And I do think for them, I mean, for their sake, I would like them to go tempo and just keep going, because they haven't been in a whole lot of a rhythm at all this game.
Inside 6 minutes to go, halfway through the fourth quarter, and they are in Dallas territory. Deep pass towards the end zone, and that one is incomplete. Gerald, that would have been about a 50-yard touchdown. And just for funsies, if you're all paying attention, we're going to say 50 is a bonus number.
Oh.
So, over 50's gone, and now 50 is gone. You heard it here first. That pass is incomplete. 3rd down and 10, coming up 12 of 28. Still less than 50% completions.
Yeah, look, and on that last play where the Flag did throw it deep, Doug Day had to play defense on that stuff, being able to, had to bat it down so the defender didn't get it. Now it's 3rd and long. They have not been very good.
Flag trying to convert this one on his own with his legs. He's got to turn upfield, runs away from the defender. It's like he didn't even know he was there. Gets the 1st down. Flag with 73 yards rushing. He's been a much better running back tonight than he's been a quarterback.
He sure has, right? So he's doing it with his legs right here. He's like, I don't see nothing open, but I like them going in a no huddle right here.
Tempo
and
early.
Keeping it going.
Flag looks, short pass, tries to get that one to Sights, complete. Tackled after a gain of only 5.
Yeah, and even that pass was not very good, right? Sights had to actually turn back around. Very, very poorly thrown ball, but Sights bailed his teammate out and was able to pick up 5.
Flag to throw on 2nd down and 5. That one down to the bottom, and that one is incomplete. Gerald, it's wild. In his first 3 games, 22 incompletions total across the 3 games. He's already got 17 on the game tonight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can tell he's not himself, right? And typically you don't see that at home from when teams are playing at home.
No, you're much more comfortable. The crowd is quiet when you're out on the field. Gets that one caught. Will they spot him the 1st down, forward progress? And they say yes. Okay. 1st down and 10 from the 23, but back to the no huddle because time still ticks away.
Yeah, they just got to keep plugging away at whatever they got. Just keep going.
Flag throws complete down to the 1-yard line again, and this is where the drive just completely stalled out last time. Barbara Henson wants to know why we're talking about aerodynamics of a lobster. It's because of Liam Sights. Kind of looks refrigerator-esque. And somehow it was compared to a lobster. Not sure how. Flag looks, throws it back to the cameraman. Second incompletion in his direction.
Like, I don't know if Flag realizes, but that dotted yellow line is not the end zone. You need to keep it in.
Yeah, that's too far. You can't.
Yeah.
Like, that is not the field of play.
Totally not. Now you need a run here. That's what I think.
And they do hand it off, but that's the same thing.
But why
Same thing, Gerald, that happened on the last drive. They handed off to J.R. Lyons, and he's stuffed.
That is not the guy you need running that ball in that situation, right?
Well, Seitz is tired. I mean, the fatigue on the no huddle. They had Neil Rivers in the backfield at one point. Flag, sacked.
Bad.
Fourth down from the 11, and they're going to have to go for it again. So we saw 4th and 5. Wow. They threw a pick. Now here they are. Same situation. They had a first and goal from the 1, and then they lost yards.
Yep, and Frank Bernstein come blazing in right off the edge, untouched. If it wouldn't have been him, it would have been one of his teammates coming in there too, and it would have been Josh Payne would have pulled him down of Bernstein, and had Bernstein just throw him down and says, "No, bro, we own you. We don't care if you're undefeated. You're getting that L today."
4th down and goal
from the 1 to the 11.
Yeah. If they don't get this, that might be game. Flag, end zone, and it's incomplete. He had a wide open target, but went farther.
Jake Riley was wide open. You know Flag is way off on his game when Jake Riley was wide open, but he went to the outside to Doug Day. I don't know what he was looking at in that way. That was not a very good decision at that moment at all.
Turnover on downs at the 11-yard line.
And they're going to look at this film, right? And at least the entire team, Flag especially, right? This is not how he has played the first 3 games of the season. And you come in and you do this, it is not looking very good at all.
Dallas has absolutely had their number, so now they're going to Cameron Duty's just going to keep chucking it himself. You see the Rhinos' upcoming schedule there.
You know what I mean? But look, what a way for, like Dallas to be able to come in here on the road after losing a championship game and beating Dakota after Dakota being undefeated.
Yeah. Here he checks that one down. Throws behind the line of scrimmage, and a look at what Dallas has coming up. Be at St. Louis, at Minnesota, at Austin. So 3 road games in a row after this one, which is also on the road. So 4 road games in a row. They'll finally be back home in mid-May, hosting the LA Aztecs. As that run on 3rd down, not some about 6, timeout called by Dakota, hoping to try to make something happen here in the waning moments of the game.
Yeah, Dakota's got to go with, trying to strip the ball or something like that, right? Like they just didn't. And this is the thing. I feel like in the second half, their defense gave them an opportunity to put points on the board. They got down there twice, turnover on downs and turnovers and everything else you can imagine. Missed field goal, right? So if you're looking at it, man, there's at the 1, by the way, and got pushed back 2 times and I had to go for it on 4th down. You're at the 1, can't put it in twice, and then you lose yardage in the process. So, and you can see here how Seitz started, right? How they kind of tightened up on them and everything else. But I mean the run game is not going to do them any good right now.
First down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Flag making a check down. Seitz get out of bounds at minimum. Gets the first down, but stays in bounds. That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Wow.
2 minutes to go here in this one. Dakota down 14 points. They've got the football, Gerald, but they have played like a rhino with 3 legs. They need a 4th leg.
I won game, with the horse with 2 legs, so.
Flag, another short pass to a man that's heavily covered.
Wow. Kind of was on his back a little bit. Josh Payne, we're going to call it tight coverage.
2nd down and 10 now. They're in Dallas territory. They're going to need to take some shots here. Flag has made big completions in his day. He's going to have to do some of them now. These 5-yard checkdowns aren't it.
right? It being, yeah, the checkdowns are not going to do it, right? And then, you know, I mean, we know how it works here, right? They got roughly about a 10-second runoff, right, for their no huddle, so they got to go deeper.
Flag bottom gets the first down, minute and a half. Clock rolls. 18 of 38. No touchdowns, 2 picks.
Why are we excited right here? You didn't get out of bounds.
Nothing good happened there, honestly.
No.
They get the first down, but that's about it. From the 33-yard line, flag looks, has time, checks it down again, and that one's out of bounds, incomplete.
This is not. I don't know what's going on right now, right? Flag is all out of sorts. He's not saying anything downfield. I don't know if his vision is just whatever else, but, you know, Flag has almost reached his 3-game incompletion total
Sure
in one
has.
game.
One more, and he'll hit it. That one's caught, though.
Man.
Only gain of 2, so
This is not good.
not at all.
This is like, you know how you're watching someone really die a slow death? This is what it feels like to me right now.
It's like, just finish them off.
Like it's just died.
Oh, they did. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, Dallas.
It was just not going.
It's a
very
mercy
well.
killing right there.
I guess right there, because it was just really, it was just the deke and the dunks. You had no time. You know,
It just
you're
wasn't
down 2
working.
scores, right?
Yeah.
And
Listen, I'll
Flag
quote.
with all his picks.
I'm going to quote
man.
Ronnie Shanahan way up earlier in the chat. You'd have to scroll back and see it now, but I've been saving it for this moment. Flag is just not flagging tonight. And he's just not. Billy Flag didn't look like Billy Flag. You know, last week, 16 of 22. 16 of 22. Think about that for a second. 22 pass attempts were made by Billy Flag last week in this game where he threw 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's had 22 incompletions.
Incompletions, and he's got 3 turnovers too. So it's not the type of game Flag is used to have, and everything else. And look, and how about Dallas, right? 0-2 start to start the season, and then they've won their 2nd straight right now, right? Like their first game, they lost it bad. Their 2nd game, guess what? It was a little bit tighter. They lost by 3. Then they come in there and they win by 1 score against Wichita, and they come in here. It seems like they found their stride. This is
Sure did.
maybe a revenge game for them.
Well, yeah,
Right,
you
being
lose in
able-
the championship,
you know?
you keep that chip on your shoulder. I know that much. Robert Henson with a $10 super chat says, here, Cam, thanks for helping me waste time with friends and family. Absolutely.
That's called quality time, Robert.
Quality time.
Well, maybe he seems like it's a waste because I'm here. But
I think he said it was a waste because of the rude comment in the chat from some outsider who had nothing better to do with his evening. Accuses us of wasting time. But meanwhile, he's on YouTube streams he doesn't like and makes comments. Well, hey, what do I know? So, but yeah, great job by Dallas as they came in here and win their 2nd game of the season, and this one on the road. They finally put things together last week after losing in week 1. They lost in week 2. Week 3, they were at home against Wichita. They got the win, but to come on the road in Dakota against the defending champions and get that win and do so in convincing fashion. I mean, they scored first, and then Dakota was able to strike right back, tie it back up, and Dallas was like, no. This is my night. We want to win this one, and they did so in a very convincing way. Dallas is a team to watch the rest of this season.
yeah, dude, and this is the thing too, right? There's going to always be that one play that everybody's going to point to that turns the game around, right? We had just seen a guy like just joining the squad, Jeff Wells, come in there and to have a running play, and it results in a negative yardage, right? Coming in to help out in the pass game. What he does not very long after that, comes through, catches an 82-yard touchdown down the field, blew by everybody on the defense, and guess what? At the end of the day, scored it. That was a turning point. It gave Dallas the momentum they needed on the road.
Rochelle Colson with a $2 super chat says, hello, Mittens. Let her hear the roar. Let her hear it. Roar. There it is. This has been a presentation of the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. For Gerald Smith, Cameron Irvine, and Matt Wilson, who's always with me in spirit, I'm Mike Daggs. Thanks for joining us. And remember, don't be like some people in the chat. Be kind to one another. Always choose happy. Enjoy yourself when you're wasting your time. Have a great night. We'll see you all next time. Peace.